What's up, my friends and film fandom, wherever you may be and however you may be watching? Thank you for giving us just a little bit of your time. Not really much going on tonight. Different show, just a little bit of a hangout. And of course, right as I click go live, my computer wants to start glitching out. But hey, here we are. So far, again, pinned in the chat on YouTube, and I think on this two platforms, is the link to get in if you want in on this call. So there is a limit of 10 people on the software that I use. So if you're a person number 11, you're kind of out of luck. But yeah, there really is kind of no limit of what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about a couple of different things. I have a couple of interesting stories to go into that aren't quite movie related. Probably some fancy football talk, since I am pretty much officially eliminated by one of the today. Yeah, a few oddball stories to go into, and I'll scan the internet and look for something else to talk about. I'll plan on going about, I don't know, between now, I don't know, I'm thinking about 11-ish, maybe, so I don't know, it depends on what the night brings. But you guys can see it down there in the scroll down the bottom. If we get five donations of $5 or more, I'll give away $25 for free movie tickets, and I'll pull the old derail. If you give me $50, I'll take a shot. Why not? Got some alcohol sitting behind me. I got some shot glasses sitting behind me, all ready to go. And yeah, so let's have some fun tonight. Let's get into some business. And the first one here with me tonight is the Shape from the Lone Star State. My man Tex, what's going on, brother?
Do I need to be referred to as Frank's Van Helsing because I just slayed the monster last night? Is that what I need to be referred to as?
It's not official till the end of the game today, so I have a little bit of hope I can hold on to.
No, what's up, y'all? Merry Christmas. Hope everybody's doing well. I'll be on camera in 1 second. What's up, everybody?
Doing good, And of course, for the first time on here in a while, maybe I think ever, is my man Mikkel. I've been trying to get to unmute himself for a while now because I can't unmute him. There he goes. There's Mikkel.
What way for you to give info and stuff?
Yeah, but we're here now. We're here with Tex and Mikkel right now. Like I said, the link is pinned. Is the pinned post in the YouTube chat, and I think probably on the Facebook and Twitch chat. But Casey, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I just said the link is in the pinned post. All you have to do is click on it. If you can't click on that thing, press a couple of buttons, then I don't know what to tell you, kid. I'm very, very sorry. But yeah, Casey, the one time I'm just going to let you on here, no questions asked. Also, someone new to the channel who just joined is Big Bacon. What's up, Big Bacon?
Greetings, everyone. How you doing tonight?
See? So we're having fun already. We're starting to grow this thing already. What's happening? So Big Bacon, what's going on with you, my man?
Just living the dream, working.
Another trucker to add to our ranks. We got Big Bacon and J-Man from KC. So well represented in the trucker game is our community. And I would imagine that Casey is going to be on here at some point. I'm sure he's frantically typing away on the thing link. So like I said, anybody who wants to join us tonight can join. There is a limit of 10 people. So that's the max that I can do on the account that I pay for on this thing. I never ever get to 10. Usually 4 or 5 is the most we ever get. But there's a couple of stories we'll go into right now. And let's see. The first one is Journey's Neil Schoen hits his bandmate Jonathan Cain with a cease and desist order over his Mar-a-Lago performance. Now, according to this from Yahoo, Journey's Neil Schoen has hit Jonathan Cain with a cease and desist order over a Mar-a-Lago performance and appeared first on Consequence. I don't know what that is. Let's see. Journey's Neil Schoen hit his bandmate Jonathan Cain with a cease and desist order over a performance of Don't Stop Believin' at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort. In November, Cain participated in a sing-along of Don't Stop Believin' with Trump sycophants. I like how it says sycophants in the article. That's very nice. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Kimberly Guilfoyle, and Carrie Lake. The performance struck a nerve with Schoen, who fired off a cease and desist. It said, quote, although Mr. Cain is free to express his personal beliefs and associations, when he does that on behalf of Journey or for the band, such conduct is extremely deleterious to the Journey brand as it polarizes the band's fans and outreach. Journey should not be political, Schoen's attorney wrote in a letter via The Guardian. Mr. Cain's unauthorized affiliation of Journey with the politics of Donald Trump has the band's fans up in arms. I'm sure they probably didn't even know about it. As is demonstrated by a sample of the attached emails and Twitter comments. Okay, trolls. That's what I'm saying. The letter continues. This has caused and continues to cause irreparable harm to the Journey brand. No, it doesn't. Its fan base and earning potential. No, it doesn't. Especially in light of the forthcoming tour. Mr. Kane has no right to use Journey for politics, which I don't think he did. He should not be capitalizing on Journey's brand to promote his personal, political, or religious agenda to the detriment of the band. Kane's wife, Paula White Kane, is Donald Trump's former spiritual advisor. I don't even know what a spiritual advisor does, but whatever. But, Nancy Reagan was into astrology, so teach their own.
Yeah.
Even before the cease and desist, Schoen and Kane were engaged in a legal battle over the band's finances. Just last month, Schoen sued Kane over allegations that he was denied access to the band's corporate credit card and financial records. For his part, Kane contends Schoen has over $1 million in personal expenses on the band's card. Schoen's letter states that the cease and desist does not intend to further add to the animosity that is continually plaguing the band and the relationship between Mr. Schoen and Mr. Kane. Nevertheless, Kane responded to the cease and desist by saying Schoen is just frustrated that he keeps losing in court and is now falsely claiming the song has been used in political rallies. Incredibly, Schoen and Kane are set to tour together as Journey beginning next month. And before we get into that, we do want to welcome one more to the call. What's up? What's up, Marcus?
Nothing to hang out.
Hey, the more the merrier. Yeah, the more the merrier. Like I said, we can get 10 people in here. We're halfway there. But some of us will shut down a little bit while they're not talking.
Please, I can't hear
the background noise. But yeah, I don't know. I'll go to you first, Mikkel. I don't know how big the Journey is, but yes, okay, yeah, we're getting some mad feedback somewhere. But Mikkel, I don't know how big of a Journey fan you are, but I mean, is this a big deal to you, or do you think it shouldn't be?
No, it's not.
Well, I mean, we all. If you've ever followed Neil Schoen, and since we've got him here now, Casey is Raw has joined the call as well.
Oh God, there goes the show.
I had to calm myself to get on the show.
Hang on, whoa. Who got the feedback?
Is it coming from me?
No,
it was on here, but it was on here before you got here, Casey. I'm gonna mute this to see if it's me.
It's not you.
Well,
Megan, do you have headphones or anything?
I had to get me on the show currently.
I know I can do. I'll go to you guys one at a time. So that way everybody gets to talk. Okay, let's start with Mikkel. Mikkel, I mean, it's Casey. It wasn't you. I just said, damn it. I was like, you don't have to go.
Yeah, it wasn't Casey.
But anyway, Mikkel, I'll go to you first. I mean, Neil Schoen is a well-known liberal. He's very much made it known that he does not like Donald Trump. He's one of the many celebrities that has said it. I mean, do you think that he's making this a bigger story by throwing a fit and doing the cease and desist? Because I got to be honest, I didn't even know that this little event in Mar-a-Lago took place until I read the story and was like, I'm surprised. And honestly, my first thought was, it's a shock to me that anybody from Journey, who was a band based out of San Francisco, a band that I've loved my entire life, being a Bay Area native, did he make this a bigger story than what it already was?
I think it being a fucking baby.
Yeah, I mean that's not too far off. I mean, I do think he's making a mountain out of a molehill here. That's what I think. What's up, EJ in the chat? Hey, EJ, if you want to come join us, the pinned comment is the link to jump in here if you want to come in and say hi. Hang out as long as you want. We'll be here till probably 11, give or take, depending on what the night brings. But yeah, I don't know. Tex, what do you think? I mean, is this a big deal, much ado about nothing, or does he have a claim here?
I think the proper term for this fella is he's being a bit extra. The line that they use, irreparable damage to the Journey brand. Really? So you really think people who didn't even know that Trump played "Don't Stop Believing" are now going to listen to this song and go, "Oh God, I can't listen to this because somebody I don't like, because Orange Man Bad played it one time, and now I could never listen to this song." This is a textbook liberal ideology of brainwashing and not having facts to back up anything here. It's nonsense. Like you, I didn't even know this was a thing. I didn't know they had a rally in Mar-a-Lago and he played "Don't Stop Believing." But hey, I'm sure at some point he's used a different song that somebody else that didn't like him either, and they probably just let it go because it's not a news. It's not a story. Just relax, dude. Don't take yourself so serious. It's ridiculous.
Well, my question is, and I'll go to you with this, Marcus. I mean, I would imagine that none of us here are legal experts, but I mean, I think that because they're both in the band, don't they all have the right to use the band's material anyway? I don't know how the legalities of all that stuff actually works. That's just my take on it. Now, for one, he didn't go there with the intent of performing the song, and he kind of got pulled into a rendition that was done by something else. So I don't. So I mean, is this really the same thing? He didn't make any money off this, I'm assuming. If he did, I'm sure legally that money would have to go to the Journey, to the company that is the band Journey. I don't know, Marcus. What do you think? What do you think of this whole mess?
I think it's just stupid propaganda at this point. I mean, there's probably something stupid going on in the background that they want us to not focus on. So here goes something completely random out of the blue, like Tech said. I've never heard of this. I don't watch the news that much because half of it's bullshit anyway, or it's something to do with Kardashians or this or that. I'm like, cool. Weather, I'm not going to get snow tonight. Great. Turn it off.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems kind of silly to me. Casey, you're back now. What do you think? Neil Schoen's mad because one of his bandmates with Journey decided he wanted to go ahead and sing a song at a Trump rally. It probably wasn't planned. At least that's the impression I got looking at the video on Twitter. I don't know. Is this a big deal to you or no? Oh, Casey.
Casey.
This
Oh,
is the part where
sorry.
you speak, Casey.
Oh, my internet was acting up, so now it's back. But I didn't hear the question. But I mean, I had to, beat the shit out of Tex to get on the show. Apparently.
Well, the
Casey, you ain't big enough.
Now, do you even know the story we were talking about, Casey?
No.
No, you have no idea. Let me go over it all again for Casey, because as usual, he's about 3 months behind everybody else. Neil Schoen of Journey has filed a cease and desist against his bandmate Kane. Why did you draw a blank on this last name? Jonathan Kane. See, when you think Journey, I always think of either the singers, either Old Nelponator or fucking Steve Perry, because he got wrapped up in what seemed to be a spontaneous performance of "Don't Stop Believing" at a Trump event at Mar-a-Lago about a month or so ago. I mean, do you think this is a big deal? Yes or no?
Yes, it's a very big deal.
Why is that?
I'm not sure because my internet braked up. So yes, it's a very big deal. Sound like a good answer.
Hang on a minute though, Frank. Who was it in Journey who played piano? Which member? It wasn't Steve Perry. He was the lead singer. Who was the piano?
Jonathan Kane is the keyboardist. I think I think Schoen also plays piano, but I think he's pretty much a guitarist.
I bring this up because a couple years ago, there was a TV preacher that I like to watch, and the keyboardist is a Christian now. He's found God and everything else. Well, they had him on this TV preacher show, and he actually played and they sang that song on a religious program. Obviously, they kind of took out some of like the wine parts and some of the more non-church parts that would agree. But I wonder how, like, he never sued whenever they played it on a church program. And, most people who are conservative are also faith-based. So if he didn't have a problem with that, why do you have a problem with it now? You know what I mean? That's a very common denominator of people that go to these things and watch these things. So it's like somebody just said earlier, if this is propaganda, this is all look at me. This is how they get woke points and everything else. This is all this is. Bottom line.
Well, this is all about it. He want me is all about it.
Yeah. And one of the things I think is funny is this article talks about, and I'll go to you with this, Big Bacon. I want to see if you agree with me on this. Is it seems like Neil Schoen says he doesn't want this to be about politics. He doesn't want the band to be about politics. He doesn't want their music to be about politics. But it seems like he's making it about politics with this reaction. Is that the impression you get, or am I missing something?
I don't think it's so much a matter of it not being involved in politics. I think it's a matter of him wanting it to be involved in the correct politics. Honestly, this sounds like just a personal vendetta against somebody he does not like.
It makes sense because this article does say that there's been a lot of legal back and forth between these two bandmates for several years. And I've heard about other things. And I know they had a lot of legal back and forth for years going on with Steve Perry after he left the band. Because I think something similar had happened, like Steve Perry, not at a political event or an event with politicians per se, but he had done some Journey songs, which I think he has the right to even contractually. I'm not 100% sure. But he had done some Journey songs and some other appearances over the years. And they were kind of like, hey, you don't really have the right to use that music anymore. And Steve Perry's like, I am fucking Journey. I was Journey for 20-some years. He's like, so I still have writing credits or production credits or whatever these songs. I don't know. The legalities of all this stuff gets kind of hazy because every time someone leaves a band, there's always things they are or aren't allowed to do with the music or whatever, and it kind of varies from one situation to the next. And I don't know exactly what the situation is between Journey and its bandmates and Steve Perry and whoever. But I mean, legally, Big Bacon, you think there's anything here?
I think the band Journey should own all the rights. I mean, unless the guy who founded it, maybe, but I think the band should hold all the rights to the music. That's how I feel about that.
Okay, well, now I'll go to Big Bacon because that's who I was going to originally when Casey started talking. Well, see? It's just like we're on
here's the thing. Here's the thing. When a corporation or entity copyrights something, there is still a person of record. There has to be an actual name associated with the copyright. So depending on whether it's used as the writer or a founder, or I don't know how it's divided up when it comes to a band. But if Don't Stop Believing is owned by copyright by Journey, with the person of record being so-and-so, then they would be the ones with the legal rights to that song. I referenced the Beatles, the way Paul McCartney sold all his rights to Michael Jackson. He's not the Beatles, but he had the rights to the songs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I got a question. What about the songs after the Beatles sold their rights to Michael Jackson? Does they still retain all those, or in the new ones, or just the old songs that from that copyright back?
The songs
that Michael Jackson.
All the songs.
I think that would entirely depend on the contract of the sale.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also it depends on what he owns. I mean, Paul McCartney may have had I don't know, the rights to half the Beatles songs. The other half may have belonged to the recording company. I don't really. Like I said, when you get into the music business, it gets a little hazy because it changes from album to album, and sometimes it'll change from song to song. So who owns the rights to a song is kind of weird. I know that. I've always thought it was funny because when Trump ran in 2016, there was a lot of people, singers were coming out of the woodwork saying, trying to send him cease and desist orders or just going public saying, we don't want you using our music at your rallies. When the reality is they may not have the choice but to let him, because when they call to license this music, whoever owns the licensing rights, and a lot of times it's just the record company, all they care about is getting their money for you using the song. They don't really give a shit about your politics as long as your check clears.
Yeah.
So when Donald Trump or somebody comes along and says, I'll give you $1 million or whatever the number might be to use this song on the campaign trail for the next 2 months, they're like, okay, bet. And then the check clears, and then they're like, okay, you got it from this date to this date or whatever the terms are. It doesn't always have anything to do with the actual performer or the singer unless they own their own rights to the music. So.
Well, that's the thing. Go ahead, Casey.
I was going to say, I would like to announce I have copyrighted a new song. I just the
God.
paperwork is done and signed off and filed. I do now own the Happy Birthday song, so you better not.
I thought for a minute I thought you were going to say Ram Ranch, and I'm like, hey, I think someone beat you to it.
Well, that's the thing, because like y'all brought up the whole Michael Jackson thing. I believe at least at one point in time, he owned the catalog for Elvis and the Beatles. Correct?
Yeah.
Isn't that what he owned?
The Beatles. The Beatles, yes. One of the things I remember hearing is they thought that the reason why he married Lisa Marie is because he wanted to get his hands on the rights to Elvis.
I thought he did get his hands on them.
I don't know that he did or not. I wonder if I can do a quick search.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, because Journey originally had 4 or 5 members. I can't remember now. So to bring up Big Bacon's point of the person of record, obviously somebody has to be on top of that as the head of it or whatever. Normally it's the lead singer, but since Steve Perry left, he may have given that up to whoever else, and they may have been on top to kind of sit on top of that board of trustee, if you will, or whatever. But
okay, so this is from November 5th of this year, so about a month ago. The rights to Elvis's music are owned by Universal Music and his daughter Lisa Marie Presley. Lisa Marie owns 15% of those rights, while Universal Music owns 85%. However, the rights to all Elvis Presley recordings before 1973 are owned by RCA Records, which is now owned by Sony Entertainment. So yeah, you get the music rights, it gets really, really fuzzy.
Well, see, that's just like the deal with George Jones, because a lot of his early stuff, I think it was it Sun Records? I can't remember who it was with, but whenever he got with Tammy Wynette, he wanted out of his contract, so he basically gave up rights to any of those early songs to, I forget what his name was, but basically like half of his career is owned by somebody else. So there's a lot of stories that are like this. So it's crazy how all the legalities work out whenever you really get digging into it.
Yeah, it's really odd. I don't know. Mikhail, any final thoughts on this before we move on to another story?
No.
I don't know. Casey, what about you? I mean, you've only been kind of half into this conversation anyway. Do you have anything to add to this?
No.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, y'all are useful on this show. Y'all are just top notch.
Well, I do apologize. I've been pulling in and out of signal here recently. So.
Oh, no, you're good. I'm just making fun of Casey and Mikkel because I know them well, so it's all good.
See, the thing is,
don't let me interfere. By all means, have your fun.
No, you're good, brother. You're good.
Hold on. So, Big Bacon, did he steal J-Man's truck? I mean,
I'm sorry?
Is he the new J-Man?
No, he is not the new J-Man. Big Bacon doesn't know J-Man. Big Bacon comes from some other part of my life.
But maybe we could convince him to drive by and, give you a visit if need be.
Well, yeah, see, Casey, you've already had one trucker come by and try to murder you several times. Now we've got 2 guys that can drive by your house and not get a problem.
Hey, when I get back on the road, maybe I'll swing by too.
Oh, look at that!
I got my CDL. I can drive. I just got
a whole militia.
Yeah. Got a whole hit squad after you now, Casey.
I'm going to have to lock the place down again.
Okay, lock 18-wheeler. You might lose.
Yeah.
I mean, when you get in my neighborhood, you got to make a couple turns. You're not going to have full steam going into.
I don't need full steam. I just need enough to break the lock.
No, just park at the McDonald's closest to him. He'll come to you. Don't worry about it. It's not hard. So.
Let's see what this story does for us. This is from your neck of the woods there, Casey.
Oh, no.
I guarantee it's about meth heads then.
Yeah, it's probably.
Not quite meth. Oh, I lost the story.
Just crack cocaine.
There it
Okay.
is.
That's better.
No.
That's better.
So apparently, this according to the Wall Street Journal, Oklahoma has become a top source of black market weed. Casey, what are you doing in your? Is that? I bet you there's a fake wall behind one of those walls of video games that like you pull away, and back there is like a whole warehouse full of illegal grow operation. That's what you do, huh? Isn't it?
Well, it's not. It's not illegal, right? I mean, we decriminalize. We decriminalize medical marijuana. So, I mean,
not on a federal level.
No.
I mean, all over the place we have pot dispensaries everywhere. I could throw a fucking rock out my door and hit one right now.
Well, there you go, telling everybody where you live again, Casey. Good job. That's the way to do it.
Casey, this story comes to us from Coyle, Oklahoma. I don't know how close that is to you. I don't want to get too close to doxing you, but finding marijuana crops in Oklahoma these days is easy. Says Logan County Sheriff. Stop, Casey, you're gonna dox yourself, dummy. Says Logan County Sheriff Deputy Chris Pillman. As he stared at rows of cannabis greenhouses surrounded by fields of red dirt farmland. Figuring out if they're legal, well, that's another matter. It's not always clear what we should be looking for, the deputy said. The Cedar State has become the biggest source of black market weed in the country, the Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics estimated this month. Drawn by cheap land, affordable licenses, and light regulatory oversight, marijuana growers by the hundreds flocked to Oklahoma after the state began allowing commercial marijuana cultivation when it legalized the drug for medical purposes in 2018. With no limit on how much marijuana the operators can grow or how big farms can be, output quickly ballooned well beyond what medical marijuana patients, roughly 10% of the state's 4 million residents, would appear able to legally consume. The state has issued active licenses for about 7,000 growers and for roughly 2,600 dispensaries. Unlicensed or improperly licensed black market operations are rampant, officials say. So, Casey, how are you making money to pay your bills these days?
Selling illegal weed. I mean, selling white market marijuana.
White market? What is white market? What is
Whoa,
that?
Casey, we already know about your proclivities, man.
I mean, I can't afford this if I'm not selling the marijuana,
So, hang on a minute. Are you disassembling old Nintendo cartridges, filling them full of dope, and putting them back together, and then sending them out? Is this how your operation works?
Well, obviously, I'm not going to use any of my more expensive games. I'll use
but I mean, like, this. Hang on a minute.
30
This
copies of Mario 2.
Hang on. This is the guy that has like 50 copies of that Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen video game. This is why he has those, because he can get them for dirt cheap.
Yeah, they all can't be from.
I'm glad that's the reason, because the other reason would have been awkward.
You know what's wild? I work on trailers, and every once in a while we'll get a trailer that was transporting marijuana. You opened what's called reefer trailers?
Refrigerated, yeah.
Yeah, refrigerated. Yeah. When you open them up, you could smell the pot coming out of that. You could smell that.
So it's a good day at work, then. Is what you're saying.
Well, I mean, we get it.
I wasn't hauling weed. That just blew from the cab.
But every once in a while, some of the guys would found like a bud on the freaking ground. I'm like, you figure this is your livelihood. You would take every scrap of your product, right? You're not going to leave like, oh, there's a little piece of marijuana right there.
Nope, falls off the pallet. They're too lazy to clean it. That's true of any customer.
But I mean, it's still their product. You figure you're going to try to sell every little bit you have.
They're too lazy to do that shit. What, clean up a trailer? Let's go look at the Target parking lot. It's a wreck out there.
Well, I mean, to kind of broaden the scope of the story a little bit, Eastern Oklahoma, and I don't know where Casey is, but Eastern Oklahoma is like the king, or like the home from where crystal meth comes from. So it does not surprise me that there's illegal grow farms. They're doing the same. I've actually got a friend in Tulsa, I believe, is where he lives, but he works for a company that owns these stores that sell medical marijuana, and they also have CBD stores in Texas. He works in all of them, and they constantly have people, like when they set up one of their medical shops that's legal, they'll have people hanging outside in the front or basically trying to get business before they come into these stores. So I guarantee you it's the same people that are doing, this illegal stuff right here. I mean, I'm pretty sure Colorado had the same problem too until they went full recreational.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there ain't no telling with this kind of stuff. I mean, it's, I like that. I like that each state has the right to, to say either we want it or we don't. That's, that's what
I
that's what
agree.
we're supposed to do. But, I mean, if anybody can make a dime out of this, somebody's going to do it. So it makes, I'm not surprised at all.
Well, the thing is, ever since they made it legal for medical marijuana, there's like a fucking pot store. Like there's one strip mall that has two in there, and then has right beside it, it's an old gas station that's now a marijuana.
So they don't have to be zoned like so many feet from a school or anything else. They don't zone them like that.
I'll bet money they have to. I mean, you can't have pot right beside the school zone.
Why not? Most of it's sold in the bathroom at the school. So.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's
hell, when I lived in Montana, they had dispensary/casinos.
There you go.
And it was like,
Nice.
why the fuck do I not own one of these?
Why don't I live
go in there and gamble?
Right.
I mean, why I'm bringing this up is how's all these dispensaries making money when there's so much competitors out there for this? You figure, like, well, I'm gonna go get the one that's nearest to my place. Go get their weed instead of going like downtown and skip over the next 10. I mean,
well, it's like war. Only the strongest survive.
Right.
You selling weak shit, you ain't gonna last.
Well, I mean, if let's say 100 shops open with medical, right?
yeah.
They're, I mean, to use a pun here, they're going to weed themselves out. They're just like you said, only the strong survive. Eventually, whoever has the most money in their pocket to put into the business will outlast and ultimately end up being the only one on the block when there was 15 or whatever. So, it's the way of the world.
You know, it's funny. I saw the billboard, and one of them said "Dank of Oklahoma," like Bank of Oklahoma, but Dank of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
One of the things that they do bring up in this article is in Logan County, north of Oklahoma City. I'm guessing that's kind of where this is. Sheriff Damon Devereaux said criminals target farms, dispensaries, and even the homes of those who work in the industry because operations are cash businesses. Because marijuana isn't legal on the federal level, many banks won't accept deposits associated with it. Security guards armed with assault rifles have become fixtures at some farms, and his deputies have often responded to robberies at the businesses. So, I mean, that opens up a whole other section of criminal, of criminal activity. I mean, is that something you guys would be worried about?
I've got weapons myself. I'm good to go. Let's party.
Yeah, but you have a lot of weed in your house too.
Well,
a great deal that you might grow at a giant farm.
I can't tell you what I hide in the panels behind my walls, Frank. I can't help myself like that.
Hold on, I gotta go check on my plants. Hold on.
Yeah.
He pulls a video game out. It's got poles to his bat cave and everything.
You just want to touch that Mary Kate game again.
Oh, that's funny.
I mean, you'll never know what's behind there. Maybe I am having a growth farm behind there.
No,
I still operate within the theory that Casey lives in a abandoned Chuck E. Cheese that he just retrofitted to be a house. So, you know, I'm not sure that it's not until I see it will be. So that's the theory I'm working under. That's my conspiracy fact for the day. So, you know,
It's not a conspiracy if it's true.
that see, he knows what I'm talking about.
But
the sheriff was referring to this past month of 3 men and 1 woman. One woman at a 10-acre pot farm in Kingfisher County. A suspect in the killing named Wu Chen, a 45-year-old, was later apprehended in Miami Beach. Chen and those killed were all natives of China. Prosecutors who have charged him with murder said in court papers he had demanded to be paid $300,000 within 30 minutes as a return of a portion of his investment in the marijuana production before opening fire. Mr. Chen's attorney declined to comment on the charges. So that's probably an ongoing case that's going to last for a while. So yeah, I mean, that right there is kind of what I said should probably be worried about. I mean, if you're still working on the illegal side of marijuana.
A couple years ago, the Chinese came over here in Texas and Oklahoma, and they were buying up gigantic chunks of farmland from Texas. I think Texas to Kansas, I believe. And I mean, were these Chinese nationals that did this? I don't know if the article says or not, but I know that they bought a chunk of the production land, you know, in these part of the woods. So this is starting to sound like an episode of Ozarks or something. What this sounds like. I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah, I'll be in the chat of the article so you guys can read it yourselves. It's kind of a long article. That's why I'm not trying to read it all.
Yeah.
well, I mean, is this that Chinese weed, or is this going to be American weed that made in America?
It's American weed. Whenever you smoke it, red, white, and blue smoke comes off of it. It's actually pretty cool. So, it works out well.
I don't know. Last time I got baked, I had a big hanker for fried rice. So.
Oh, there you go. See, that's cool. You know, that's the stuff that gets you all slanty eyed. You know what I mean? You can't see real good. You get them ching chong eyes going. You know, so. You got to watch out.
I ate some fried rice and called my son a disappointment.
Oh.
Did you ask him for his report card too?
Of course.
Make sure he's playing piano, right?
Oh, disappointment.
Well, you know
you
what?
Support the family. There you go. I can't do a Chinese accent.
Well, I hadn't met up with a Chinese woman, so I don't know if her pussy's slanted. So.
Okay. Well, Casey.
Okay, that went a new direction.
Okay.
Well, welcome to doing podcast with Casey is Raw, and it often goes sideways. Well, Casey, I do have to ask, how many pounds of fentanyl do you have in your home right now? And I'm not a government agent, I swear.
I'll have to check my stash. I can't.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay, so you got to pull the head off the Chuck E. Cheese?
I had to go in. Hold on, I had to go to this one to open that cave.
Gotta go to the playpen.
Yeah, he keeps the fentanyl over there in the ball pit. You know, just keeps it all stacked up real nice. So it works out real good.
Yeah, those pills you find in the ball pit. That's not like any other pills. Those are fentanyl pills. So.
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing with this. You know, I'm for the legalization and the decriminalization of marijuana just to try to deal with stuff like this. But the problem is when you kick that door down, then you're going to have, I mean, look at what Oregon did. Isn't crack and like cocaine legal up there now? Like you just do whatever you want. You know what I mean? It's yeah.
I don't know if they've necessarily made it legal. I know one of the things that I've argued with people about, like here in the States, they want to have these legal safe injection sites. And I'm like,
Right.
can you safely inject poison into your body in any certain place? I mean,
Well,
does it
mean,
matter if there's a paramedic sitting right next to me if I inject Clorox into my fucking artery? I mean, what is so safe about injecting that shit into your body that you have to have a safe place to do it? Where they have, I've heard. Obviously, I'm not hanging out in these places where they have like a supply of Narcan for the multiple people every day that are going to overdose. It's like, is there such a thing as a safe injection site?
No.
No.
Okay, you want a safe injection site? You put a mom at the front door to beat the shit out of anybody coming in.
Damn
there
right.
you go.
What the hell are you thinking?
Yeah, I don't get that shit either.
Find an angry mom in like her nightgown that because you just got her out of bed. Should be very angry to deal with it. That'd be great.
Yeah. So, EJ
I
asked
think
an
that's
interesting
his
question.
grandma with the slipper.
There you go.
EJ says, speaking of the devil, have you guys heard of a spinach marijuana? Are they any good? Has anybody
What?
tried it? Is it like, please call it Popeye. Please call it Popeye.
Oh, that'd be great.
If you don't call it Popeye, that is a big time marketing misstep.
Oh, that'd be great.
On the bag needs to be a picture of him. That's all it needs to be.
Wouldn't Popeye be like all hopped up on steroids because he
only his forearms get big, so it's tumors. It's not steroids; it's tumors in his arm. You know what I mean? It's not the whole arm. So yeah.
It was also his face. His face was shaped funny too. A lot of swelling in his cheeks and jaw.
Have you ever looked at Popeye? Oh, and then look at the Toxic Avenger from the Toxic Avenger film.
Yeah.
They look very similar in the face,
Yeah,
like the facial structure. They're very
They
similar.
both look like my ex-wife. I'm sorry, was that out loud?
Then maybe you should make better choices in life, sir. But that's a whole different conversation. So.
Yeah.
For 15 years, I spent my life in a bottle, and you'd be amazed at how much your vision clears when you stop looking through it. What the?
That is true. When you take those horse blinders off, it gets a lot brighter. I do understand that. So, yeah, I get it. Goodness gracious. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, if they're not marketing that with Popeye all over it, that's a huge missed opportunity. But I'm trying to figure out what the spinach marijuana. Is that spinach that was somehow laced or grown with marijuana, or is that just a strain of marijuana? Because I know that, because when I was in high school, I used to smoke weed a lot. It was just like we just called everything was kind of the same thing. I think when I was graduating, hydro was becoming the thing. The stuff they use like in water or whatever.
That's what we had in high school.
But now you've got like 500 different strains and brands of whatever, and I don't know what it all is. I have not smoked in a long, long time. I have the occasional edible, but that's about it. So I'm not really into that world anymore. So I don't know if that's like a strain of marijuana, spinach marijuana. I don't know. You can call it something cooler than that, I think.
I don't know.
Well, you can grow the both of them. So I'm sure somebody out there has found a way to genetically modify spinach to a THC thing. I mean, you never know.
Hell, they put that shit in everything now, so it wouldn't surprise me
There
if
you
they pollinated it.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
But yeah, go down in the comments below. Let us know what you guys think. That apparently, right in Casey's backyard, they're growing a bunch of illegal marijuana.
It's literally in his backyard.
I bet that's what Casey's mom does. That's how she pays the bills. That's how she pays
I could see Casey's mom being
Stop at Phil's house and drop off this pound, and with the money he gives you on the way back, hit Sonic and get me some tots.
Hey, why not? I mean, you make a little money, then you can, relish in the spoils, right?
I guess.
The victory of the spoils.
The spoils of the spinach marijuana.
I do, guys. I actually do, guys. Serious question about marijuana, but what's your guys' stance about if someone's, hitting it up while traveling? I mean, I feel like that should be definitely DOI if someone's smoking while driving. Wouldn't you guys say that?
Well,
yeah, that's still driving under the influence. If they're driving, they're under the influence of marijuana, they're under the influence.
it depends on how you get to.
No, if it should be legalized, but it should have the same rules as alcohol does. You know, you can't go to work on it. You can't drive under the influence. If you do, it's the same thing because impaired driving, whether it's on a cell phone or intoxicated, you can kill people.
Yeah, I think it's still technically a DUI, but the problem is now I don't think they have a way to test for it in the field like they do the field sobriety test. The thing you blow in, the different kind of like cognitive tests they do. Breathalyzer. Yeah, there's no way to field test for that right now without drawing like blood samples. So
vertical nystagmus gaze.
Yeah.
What? But is that in the system for like 30 days? So it's.
But that doesn't mean that you're high when they pull you over when you're driving the car. If you smoked 2 days ago,
they can do hair follicle tests, but yeah, they can't prove at the moment of the crash how high you were. They can't do that.
I feel like if you can open the door and you can smell it, to me you fail right there. I don't care if it's the passenger smoking. I mean, you still can get a contact high like that, right? Like
okay. Have any of y'all ever been pulled over and given a field sobriety test?
Yes.
Nope.
Have you ever had you stare at the pin as they move side to side?
Yes.
That's called horizontal nystagmus gaze. They're tracking your eye movement. And if your eyes are moving smoothly, that's an indicator that you're not intoxicated. They're looking for the jumping, the delay of eye movement.
Right.
The use of marijuana causes what's known as vertical nystagmus, where your eyes will jump when it's tracking something going up and down. That is enough for them to detain you for further testing.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
At least in the state of Ohio.
I mean, that sounds right. I mean, I think that's a good idea to do that.
Oh, great. And I'm losing.
Uh-oh.
Well, there goes.
Well, as long as you got signal, Bacon, you're with us. But I don't know. There's probably a lot to this. I don't know. I'm sure we're going to hear more about this at some point. But maybe next weird hangout, off the wall hangout we'll have some more on this. Go down in the comments below. Let us know what you guys think about all the still illegal pot being grown in Casey's bedroom.
Hey,
He's not willing to share. That's the fucked up part.
We need to find these Chuck E. Cheeses and burn them down. Is what we need to do. This is ridiculous.
Okay. Be fair. He's not growing it in his bedroom. It's in his bathtub.
No,
he's too busy sitting in his bathtub playing Fortnite on his Switch.
That's what we use is mom's shower because she also
doesn't shower.
She used my tub so we can water the plants better in her shower. You just go like
at the same time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you two. You did sing "I Want Your Sex" to her, so
oh God!
There's video evidence of this case.
There is.
But moving on, how many of you have ever hidden in the bathroom to get alone time, even if you didn't have to go?
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
This from the website.
I've napped on my bathroom floor many a times.
This from the website Study finds. Half of Americans hide out in the bathroom for alone time, even if they don't have to go. Need some alone time? It turns out most people go sit on their toilet, whether they have to go or not. Half of Americans, 51%, hide out in their bathroom when they want some much-needed peace and quiet. A recent survey of 2,000 respondents said. The more people there are in the house, the more frequently it happens. Apparently, parents with kids still living in the house are 3 times as likely to seek refuge in the bathroom than childless single respondents. That's 62% versus 23%. Not surprisingly, children between the ages of 3 and 12 stood out as the loudest members of the household, twice as loud as the teenagers, and 3 times as loud as adults. The survey conducted by one poll on behalf of Masonites also suggests that the average respondent needs between 4 and 5 hours of private time per day to feel their best. 77% still need that private time even when they're hosting family or friends in their house. And almost 81% think it's important that they create quiet or private spaces within their own home. Let's see. Foxtrot, what do you do to be alone?
Oh, what do you mean? I just moved out.
Oh, yeah? I just left. I said bye, bitches.
So I don't know how to inside the bathroom. I'll just move out. Save myself the trouble. Shit. No, I was lucky enough It's the last place I thought was my mom and my stepdad. I had my own room, so I could just shut the door and tell them to get the hell out, and they got the hell out. Or just deadbolt the door that no one can get in.
It's one of the things I liked about having 2 bathrooms in my house for the last several years. It's like I can hide out in there for a little bit and not have to worry about holding anybody up. I don't know. Mikkel, what about you? Do you find it necessary to hide in your bathroom to get quiet time?
He's muted.
I think he's smoking.
No. No, my brain. I did my brain.
Well, look at his background. I mean, why would you want to hang out in the bathroom where you got that nice living room in the background?
Yeah.
I mean, I
Holy
guarantee
shit,
you.
he disappeared.
I guarantee you. I guarantee you he's not playing that. I guarantee you he's not playing that piano that's in that corner. So.
Well, I mean, the real answer.
I know
the real answer.
Go ahead, Chat.
Anybody who's ever had children, the answer is yes. You hide out in the bathroom whenever you just get pushed to that point of, okay, I'm about to snap, and either I become a family annihilator or I go hide for 30 minutes in the bathroom. Like that. If we're all being honest, if you've had children, you've thought about it once or twice. You didn't do it necessarily, hopefully not, but you considered it. So yes, and and it makes it much easier with the cell phones now because you can go in there and watch Netflix, play a video game, do whatever. You could watch a whole series if you wanted to while you're using the bathroom. And I mean, I may or may not be one of those people that in the past have used, I can't come to something because I've got diarrhea. Well, when you tell somebody you've got diarrhea, they don't bring you soup. They don't come around. What do? Oh, okay, feel better. And then they distance themselves. You know what I mean? So that's just like a go-to excuse for, I don't want to do this. So, my tummy's not well. I'll be in the toilet for an hour. So, and the best thing about it is, unless they're in there with you, they can't prove that you don't. So they can't, accuse you of lying. So, there's ways of getting out of stuff. You just got to be smart. So it works out.
Yeah.
Keep a cup of water on the sink next to the toilet every so often, just pour it in.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
See, he knows what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Or just flush the toilet every few minutes. Like, that's a good. You don't even need to act like you're peeing. Just flush the toilet.
Right.
My family knows I'm not that nice. No courtesy flushes in my house.
No courtesy flushes. There you go. Well, it's I mean, I'll put it to you this way: I've sat on the toilet so long, my legs went numb. That's how long I've sat there before. You know what I mean? And like I said, I've got teenagers in my house. I do anything I can to get 5 minutes of peace. That's just the way that it works. So, it's
just send them to work.
Yeah, that ain't no joke. But it's real easy to slip into the bathroom and lock the door and just forget the world exists. That's one of those. As a father, that's one of those just times of let it all out, just for relax. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, go down in the comments below. Let us know what you guys think of, Casey doing whatever he's doing. Here's another story that's right up your alley, Casey. I was going to go over some weird news. This is from a couple of years ago. This is from August 11th of 2018. A man hid cherry pies under a woman's car tires to see them bend over. Casey, how dare you?
That's how Casey picks up chicks. Hey, baby.
Let me go through this article real quick. I don't think it's terrible long, so let's go ahead and read the whole thing. Let's see. Again, this is back from 2018.
Don't knock it till you try it.
There you go.
Back in 2018.
Yeah.
On Tuesday, August 7th, 43-year-old Kurt Michael Fulton was arrested after he allegedly hid cherry pies, VHS tapes, and other various items underneath the parked cars of women drivers so he could see them bend over and pick them up whilst he watched from a distance with binoculars. This happened in Saginaw County, Michigan, at a Target store in Kochville Township. Fulton would wait in his car whilst an unsuspecting female victim parked their car in the Target car park. The victim would exit her vehicle into the store. Fulton would run over and place various items in front or behind the tires of the car. These items included laptops, VHS tapes, and McDonald's cherry pies. Fulton would run back to his car to gain a better vantage point and would stalk his victims with the use of binoculars. The woman would then be forced to bend over to see what they'd driven over after hearing a crunching or squishing sound. The sheriff commented on Fulton's behavior, saying, "It's very creepy, unacceptable behavior. Duh. That's the best way to describe it. It's just creepy." A 25-year-old woman called police after she discovered a laptop had been placed under her vehicle. Fulton was arrested and charged with aggravated stalking with a habitual offender's second offense enhancement, as it was discovered that Fulton was arrested for the same crime in 2007. He is being held in Saginaw County Jail under an $80,000 bond. I don't know, Casey, where'd you catch this guy, and how'd you teach him to do what he did?
Well, how you know that this guy ain't me? I mean, it's not a bad idea. I might have to. This might be a good idea.
But a laptop? That's a little okay. I could see. Oh, ma'am, you dropped your package of shredded cheese out of your Walmart bag and it fell. But who drops a laptop? That to me, that's a little bit much here.
Yeah.
And VHS.
Well, how do you guys spend your Tuesdays? I mean, come on.
Maybe it's an outdated, broken laptop. You're not gonna put like a brand new laptop under there.
I don't know. Who's he look more like? He looks kind of like Casey, right? Just about 120 pounds thinner.
Yeah.
A little bit more of a full head.
He's me with less hair.
That's what Casey looked like before he hit the McDonald's as heavy as he does these days. So that just goes to show you what that fast food will do. So.
Oh, by the way, that's not the cherry pie from McDonald's. That's just false advertising right there.
Casey would know that because he puts them under women's cars. So he my God, he knows what they look like.
Because he pretty much lives there.
Look, I ain't gonna lie.
See,
I think every guy here has.
Great, Casey. Way to be, bro.
Wow. That's funny. Hey, okay, so that article said he even put VHS tapes under the cars.
What?
Yeah. I mean, you can get them for what, 2 cents a piece now?
I mean, it makes sense money wise, but I mean, hey
pretty
man,
much.
there's
a pop at the pawn shop.
There's a VHS copy of The Lion King under your car. Can you grab it for me? I mean, is that what you?
Well, I think he was waiting for them to run over those so they'd get out and look.
Well, here's something that somebody. I'm trying to understand how this happened. Homeless man with no arms stabs a tourist.
Oh, that's great. I guarantee you this happened in Florida. That happened
Dedication.
in Florida.
That's how that happened.
No, it says Chicago right there.
A homeless street painter.
Oh,
yeah. Homeless street painter stabs tourist from Chicago with scissors using his feet. Let's see. This goes back to 2018. On Tuesday, July 10th, 46-year-old armless street painter Jonathan Dale Crenshaw was arrested after he grabbed a pair of scissors with his feet and launched himself towards 22-year-old Cesar Coronado and stabbed him with the instrument. Of course, it happened in Florida. The arrest prior said the incident occurred in the 1600 block of Collins Avenue, Miami, Florida. Coronado was walking with his friend Cindy and Barentos. Both from Chicago or visiting Miami Beach. Crenshaw claimed they were lying down in the street when Coronado allegedly punched him in the head. See, Crenshaw stated in self-defense he grabbed a pair of scissors with his feet and stabbed Coronado twice, inflicting a stab wound in his left arm, leaving him bleeding on the ground. Crenshaw placed the scissors back into his waistband and quickly fled to see. Wow, in his waistband? How?
Damn.
How fucking limber? I mean, I've seen people with like no arms learn how to do stuff like write and use the computer and stuff, but how do you get your foot up there to your waistband to put them in your waistband, bring your foot back down, and then run? That is insane. Police were informed of the situation and found Crenshaw on the 200 block of Lincoln Road nearby to the scene of the crime. Paramedics took Coronado to Mount Sinai Medical Center. He does not have threatening wounds. He was arrested and charged with aggravating assault. He is being held at Miami-Dade Corrections with a $7,500 bond. I'm going to ask you this, Foxtrot. Do you think they cuffed him?
Well, they cuffed
Yeah, sure. They cuff him by the feet. Can't cuff him in the arms, cuff him by the feet.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you do that?
Is anybody else envisioning him doing a breakdancing head spin with the scissors in his feet?
But how would you get to that?
I'm going to guess this guy, if we dug back in this guy's past, I'm guessing this is one of those circus freaks that grew up and got left at the last stop of the tour in the circus or whatever, and he had to draw people for a living. This is as Florida as I've ever heard. This is a tremendous story. I mean, how have they not made a movie about this yet? At least like a made-for-TV movie. This would be a great story, like 48 Hours or somebody. This would be cool.
Well, you know what? I'll bet money he probably was a vet. I mean, how do you lose your arms? I mean, most likely he's probably a veteran.
Probably lost it trying to put cherry pies underneath the car.
Well, how would because like Frank was talking about a minute ago. Okay, let's say he stabbed him with the right foot. Okay, he had the scissors or whatever. You would have to bring the leg up and I'm not flexible by any sense of the word, so don't hold me accountable here. I can get my leg about mid-thigh. I ain't tucking no knife in a belt and running away. So you got to be like what's that? That Vegas show where they do all the tricks. Cirque du Soleil or something. You got to have some skill like that in order to do that. I mean, that's commendable in and of itself. I mean, there's got to be footage of this guy somewhere. This made it to TV somehow. I mean, security cameras or something. I'd love to see this footage. It exists out there. Everything's on camera these days.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the guy's skinny enough. I wouldn't doubt if he's limber enough to put that knife into his shirt. I mean,
well, maybe he tucked it from the bottom side up. It just said he put it in his belt. He never said that they put it blade side down. You know what I mean? Which, if he's putting blade side up and walking away, that I could see. That I could, that's a little more reasonable. But if you can do some flips, tricks, and whatever, get this guy on America's Got Talent because he's going to win some money with some skills like that. You know what I mean? But
an armless Jackie Chan.
They've had legless, what was that wrestler's name who didn't have a leg?
Zach Gowen?
Zach Gowen, yeah. So we've had legless wrestlers. How about an armless wrestler? We haven't seen that in WWE yet. Get this guy a contract.
He goes to grapple him, but can't.
Well, actually,
arm swing takedown. Oh, never mind.
I mean, technically, if he doesn't have shoulders, he can't ever lose because your shoulders have to be pinned to the mat, right? So let's say he doesn't have those. He can be like the forever champion as long as he doesn't die. So I mean, get this guy an agent. If he'll just quit stabbing people, we could get him some work real quick. You know what I mean?
Well, I seen a wrestler with no legs. He's pretty much a torso and arms.
He's a torso and arms.
Yeah, he had no legs at all.
He's like a throw pillow, is what he's like.
He got to move around, so I mean,
that's great.
One-legged wrestler is nothing nowadays. I mean, it's still quite interesting seeing that, but when you have a legless wrestler, I mean, I think that's better than an armless wrestler.
Well, yeah, because at least you can run away with no legs. I mean, that's like the old joke. What do you call a guy with no legs? You call him whatever you want because he ain't gonna come get you. You know what I mean? But it's just one of those things. But I mean, an armless man stabbing people. This needs to be a video game, a movie, or something, because this is too great. I mean, God bless. Let's see, aren't they? Okay, they're called the Sunshine Laws in Florida, where they have to reveal all this stuff. I believe is what they're called. This is just tremendous stuff. You can the entertainment that's came out of that state alone. God bless them for it. I mean, I love their politics, but I mean, they're just the news stories are endless at this point. It's great.
Next up on the Hallmark Channel.
Oh God!
Oh no, he just needs knife shoes, like in the old,
This guy's a fucking
like in the Jekyll and Hyde films. Somebody has a knife in their boot that they just stomp down, and a knife comes out of the toe or whatever. This is what this guy needs. They could streamline stuff for him. You know what I mean?
So
Like
it's
with the
got a
knife
bigger
to-
blade to use.
Oh, did
Like where
Just
the
give the
knife
guy
will
some-
just come right, like a knife will just come right out the shoe that retracts back and forth.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So he
saying.
doesn't-
He needs some switchblade shoes. He needs some switchblade Nikes or something that he can, it's got the knife that comes in and out. He can stab, 50 people a day and just go on about his business. So
Swiss utility shoes. He's a
If we
street
could just-
painter. Have a paintbrush come out one end,
oh,
knife come out the other.
we get this guy some robot arms. He could be Inspector Gadget. I mean, this guy's handy. You know what I mean? There's potential here for this guy. You just gotta quit stabbing people.
It sounds like you're trying to make money off this guy, Tex.
No, I would never try to monopolize somebody and take 30%. I would never do that. Casey. What are you talking about?
He's only trying to do that to Frank right now.
yeah,
I'll only take
Yeah.
25. Have him call me.
Yeah, I'll just take 26.5%. It's fair. It's just getting my cut. So,
I think that's better than what Mula takes. I think she takes half of their women's pay.
and then she made them prostitute themselves.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah.
what you gotta do? Good Lord. So
you're-
Frank, have you ever stabbed somebody with your feet before? Be honest. This is a trial, and we have sworn you to
No.
tell the truth.
Well, I have to.
Uh-oh.
No.
Oh, his internet.
But I mean, it's like the most complicated thing I can do with just my feet is kicking my socks off at the end of the night, like when I go to bed. It's like get that first sock off, and then you get the second sock off. Is a lot easier because you have your full range with your toes. That's all I can do with my feet. And every now and again, I can scratch the shit on my other foot when I'm if I don't want to reach down there. That's about as good as I can do with just my feet.
With a show of hands, how many of y'all do the game where you take the socks off and then land on the floor, you grab them with the toes and you flip them up in the air and you try to catch them at the end of the day? Because that's something I just do on a regular basis. That's just, one of those fun little games I always enjoy. So
Far too limber. I just get them off and let the wife pick them up later. It's worth the 15 minutes of nagging.
There you go.
Well, I think Frank wouldn't stab someone with his feet. Knowing him, he probably shot someone with his feet. He shot a gun.
Oh.
I don't know how to get I wouldn't know how to get my toe in the trigger well.
Well,
that would take
somebody
I would have to
make
hold the
feet
gun
guns.
with the other foot. Hey,
I
maybe
want
somebody
feet guns. I've got handguns now, but I need feet guns. I need to find an engineer who can draw this up for me, make it feasible. I know it can be done. Maybe gun shoes, and the triggers are like flat instead of upright. So this could work.
true.
Hey, I hate
Or you
the
could have like something on your toe, just like
What
you
was that
pull your
movie?
toe
Jonah
right where you
Hex?
pull the trigger.
Joey, yeah.
Jonah Hex or even RoboCop. I mean, you could even go somewhere to something like that. Huh.
I hate,
Machete.
I hate the
Yeah.
Broke
Oh,
the
Machete's
down
a
had an
great film.
M16 leg.
No, that was Planet
but
Terror.
I,
That was
Oh,
Planet
my
Terror
bad.
that had the girl with the machine leg. I love that movie. That's one of my
Go
favorite
ahead,
movies.
Casey.
I hate to do this. but
Regardless,
I gotta
amazing.
bail. I gotta
Okay,
bail.
that's cool.
I gotta go meet up with the Rose, so we're gonna be doing.
You
less
finally
than-
get on Harsh Truth and you're bouncing, Casey.
I know, right?
One of his
Wow.
glow lights has gone out.
Well, I mean, prior commitments. So I mean,
Gripes for months and months. I want to be on Harsh Truth. Why won't you let me on? You get on and you leave.
Look, man, he's
This
only
is-
got one chance to get laid every 10 years, so don't ruin it for him.
hey,
See-
that,
See, what he don't know was that chance passed him by about 6 months ago. He doesn't even realize it. That's what's so funny.
I'll see you guys.
I'll
See you,
go ahead.
Casey.
See.
Go
Love you.
check out
See ya.
Casey on Casey is Raw. On his YouTube channel is in the description of all my videos down below. So go watch him. You'll find me on there every now and again playing and shit too. We had a good run going the other night. I think we even got a couple of wins the other night. Me, Casey, and who else was we with? I think me and Mello was playing. I've been in there with my people like Kev. So
Me.
yeah,
Mikhail
Mikkel's
plays
been
with
in
him,
there.
too.
So yeah. So go check out Casey. The link in the description is down below. Now, I know Tex, you and I, we are aficionados of the Second Amendment. We appreciate our firearms.
Yes,
So
sir.
how about this? How about this? Is the
Amen.
next story? A man caught smuggling gun parts in jars of peanut butter at JFK Airport.
Oh my
Okay,
god.
TSA officers arrested a Rhode Island man at JFK International Airport in New York City after they noticed his jars of creamy Jif peanut butter looked particularly crunchy. It wasn't because they were peanuts. After inspecting the jars, the TSA found the man attempting to smuggle gun parts inside the resealed jars. The man, whose name was not released, was arrested by officers, the Port Authority of New Jersey, New York Police Department. He did not make his flight as scheduled and will probably miss the Christmas party he was bringing his gun-laden jars of peanut butter to. Look, I'm no expert, but I'm pretty sure that peanut butter might gum up the works of your
Yeah.
mechanics of your gun. I'm not 100% sure. Just looking at it, I'm not even sure what he took apart. It looks like he's got the magazine's obviously got it looks like it's got a bunch of peanut butter on it. The slide looks like it's fairly clean. And
Maybe he wrapped it in like cellophane or something.
Possible. Actually, it does. On the left side, it looks like there might be some cellophane on those napkins. I'm not 100% sure.
Right.
But I don't know. Tex, when you do this, it's like
I could see me trying this, at least thinking about it, but I knowingly it's not going to work. But you got to commend his, gumption to try. Obviously this guy's probably sitting in a cold, dark cell at this point right now. But, he gave it the good old college try, as they say. He really wanted to get that. What is that, a 380 it looks like? That's something tiny.
it looks like
That's
380.
nothing. Yeah, it looks like a 380.
It could,
Like I
it
said,
could be
he
something
really
really
needed to
it
get
could
that.
be something subcompact.
Right. Yeah, it's something smaller. Either way, he really wanted to get that pea shooter to wherever he was going out of New York, New Jersey. and we all know how strict the gun laws are in that communist state. But,
Well, he couldn't fit the Desert Eagle in there.
yeah, no, you ain't getting no Desert Eagle on that thing. I couldn't get my 45. I would need like a crate of peanut butter to carry my 45. But yeah, no, that.
I would barely be able to get the mag for my 9mm out of jar.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I mean, this guy does know that they X-ray stuff, right? I mean, peanut butter doesn't stop X-ray machines. Like, that's the whole thing. Wow,
Well-
that's crazy.
Well, people are stupid. It's like,
Well, like, okay, even my necklace, it's in the shape of a round for a pistol, but it's made for ashes. Like it unscrews and it's hollow inside, and you can screw it back together. It's made out of stainless steel. This past summer, I flew down to Florida for vacation, and when I flew out of my Texas airport, they didn't even look at it. It's it's a gun in Texas. Everybody's got them. I'm pretty sure when you get your Texas ID, they hand you 2 or 3. But when I flew out of Florida, I had to go through the scanner down there, and let's see, we flew out of Orlando. I forget what the name of that airport is, but they made me take the necklace off, and it was so funny to watch them because it's just stainless steel. It's about the size of like a 9mm round. It's nothing major, and the guy's holding it out in the air like it smells bad or like it's dirty or something. This big old TSA dude, you know, you can tell he's never tested a gun in his life, and he takes it over to the supervisor for the TSA, angry black woman. So this wasn't going to be a good day for me. And she goes, well, what is it? And she comes over to me. I said, well, ma'am, I said, my stepfather recently passed away. So we brought some of his ashes down here, and this is what I carried him. And she goes, well, there's no ashes in them. I said, yes, because we already, you know, dispersed them over Daytona Speedway. She goes, oh, okay. And so she goes, well, just scan it through, and she leaves. Well, some idiot comes behind her, and it takes him 20 minutes to figure out if I can fly an empty necklace that looks like a bullet. So if I had that much problem, God knows what a dude with – how do you explain 3 jars of peanut butter when you're flying somewhere? Like, what was this guy's story when he did that? You know there was a heck of a tale that he told. I'd love to hear it. You know that'd be great.
I just bought that peanut butter from the guy outside. I had no idea that was in there.
Did you pack your own suitcase? Well,
yeah.
I packed my own.
What the hell?
I packed my own suitcase. It's not my own peanut butter.
Right. I've never been asked.
But yeah, you can.
Let's see. What's up, Frank?
That's the thing is, if you can take measures to fly with your firearm.
Yeah, there are legal ways to do it.
And you've got.
I flew with mine.
You got to jump through a few hoops. But I mean, if I wanted to get on a plane right now and go home to California, I could call ahead of time and be like, I want to take my firearm with me. What do I have to do? Because I know a lot of people that will, like, I have friends that live up near me in Ohio that will go to like Alabama and, you know, Georgia or whatever, go hunting with friends, or, you know, places down like the Gulf Coast area to go hunting, and they'll take their guns with them. They fly. Now there's some hoops you got to jump through. Some things have to be inspected. There's maybe a little bit extra fee you have to pay. They have to be locked and secured. I mean, but if you go through these steps, you can travel with your firearm. Now you can't have it on you, obviously, unless you're a sky marshal.
No.
But I mean, what problem are you going to get into on a plane at 35,000 feet that you're going to need your firearm? I mean, plane hijacking.
I'm willing to bet this gun didn't have a serial number on it.
It's all about those motherfucking snakes on that motherfucking plane.
Well, I mean, like, let's see, what was it? The TSA agent said I had to take it apart as far as it would go. I had to have the main piece in a lockbox. The slide had to be in a separate part of the bag, and the ammunition had to be in another part of the bag, like a different pocket or a different whatever. And it had to, she said, to make sure, put like a little lock, you know, like a little key lock, like a padlock on it or something, just as an extra security measure. And when I went through the security line with those bags, it took like 20 minutes extra because there were a firearm in there, and it was a little more expensive, but it wasn't bad. But I was flying from a red state to a red state. I couldn't imagine flying to California with a pistol. I'm sure the hoops you got to go through there are much worse than going from Texas.
Yeah, in New York, don't you get executed just for thinking about a firearm?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. That because those are the devil, you know. They're just going to kill everybody, you know. I mean, it's, you know, I mean, I've slept with a gun on my bed for the last 20 years, and it's yet to kill me yet. It's had many opportunities, so I don't know. Hey, what you going to do? But hey, you know, I'll keep my Second Amendment. Hey, yeah, I mean, the cholesterol in that peanut butter is probably deadlier than that gun, if we're being honest. I mean, that's a lot of peanut butter. So, but hey, this is America. We don't worry about the fast food killing everybody and the cholesterol and the processed garbage we eat. But that little 380p shooter, that's going to be the end of everybody. So, what you but, you know what I mean?
America.
That's crazy.
America. See, here's
now, Frank.
Another weird story. I tripped over.
Oh, go ahead. What's up?
Are you guys cat people or dog people?
Yeah.
Dog. I'm allergic to cats.
because this dog, this guy is apparently lucky to be alive after sustaining car crash-like injuries after tripping over his cat.
Wow.
Okay. He suffered catastrophic injuries, this article says. A UK man miraculously survived after sustaining a broken neck, fractured spine, smashed ribs, blood in his lungs, and other car crash evoking injuries from wait for it, tripping over his cat. He says, I can't remember much, just falling fast. It was quick and it was over within seconds. Then I was at the bottom. Victim Chris Rowley, age 59, told the Mirror. The freak apocalypse meow accident reportedly occurred on the evening of October 23rd while the Lancashire-based professional musician was home alone with his Harris Egyptian Sphinx kitten, Eric Hey, he even named his cat like a full name. That's weird. That guy does obviously not get laid enough. But disaster struck after the wrinkly kitty appeared playful, dove out and lashed onto one of its owner's legs while he was coming down the stairs. It took a bit of a chunk out of my leg and I lost my footing, described Rowley, who reportedly tumbled down 14 steps before arriving at the bottom, where he lay unable to move when his feline put the hell in. Hello, kitty. Look at this guy, up, bro.
Wow. I've heard of cats eating you after you die, but I've never heard of
spine injuries.
I've never heard of them killing you.
That cat looks fucking.
The whole problem is you got one of these cats that, I mean, they're probably cursed. I mean, those are the Egyptian ones.
That's what I was going to say. It looks like something, that King Tut had or something.
That's like her.
Yeah.
Oof.
Dang.
This guy's fucking injuries too.
Ew.
That's gnarly.
There's the damn cat.
What am I missing?
That motherfucker like right now.
Right.
No, that's this picture. Yeah, those are the things you don't want to load for some reason, but yeah, screw that cat. That cat go straight to hell. Let's see. The massively injured man didn't realize the extent of his injuries at the time. However, paramedics later revealed he had suffered a fractured skull, a broken bone in the neck, 2 fractures in the spine, 9 broken ribs. Christ, that's almost all of them. And each rib has multiple fractures. And then I had a bit of blood in the lungs, he said. Meanwhile, the cat was completely unharmed. All the more reason why you should strangle that motherfucker right now. Unfortunately, Rowley's wife, Jackie, a children's care worker, was working nights and was therefore unable to come to his aid. As a result, the Brit had to lie unattended for a whopping 14 hours in a pool of his own blood. How is this guy still living?
Hang on.
I physically couldn't get up. It's the hardest sensation.
I've seen this movie before. I think this cat died and he put it in Pet Cemetery. I know how this story goes.
Dang.
My goodness. Oh, could you imagine if he died from that? Death by feline.
I think if we get to heaven and God would be like, no, I get it.
I mean, I'm sure stuff like that's happened before. Like some old lady who's got a bunch of cats, trips and falls on one, breaks a hip, and then the lady dies because of a broken hip. It's definitely the elderly people. But, I mean,
right.
Seriously. It's like, it wasn't until the next morning that the immobile vocalist's wife arrived and discovered her husband spread-eagled at the bottom of the stairs. She said, I normally get home about 8:30 a.m., but that day I got held back and I didn't get back till about 10. I opened the door and heard him screaming and saw the blood. She told us, home, help, help. By this time, onto the left services who arrived in minutes, whereupon she quickly left the room as she couldn't stand her partner screaming. We didn't know how bad his injuries were at the time. They really drugged him up to move him. And there's a picture of him and his wife, I'm guessing. Let's see, the unfortunate, way to go there, British writers, added, I can't explain the pain. I released, I cut my head as well. I didn't know how much I cut it until I saw the blood. And later on, they told me about the other injuries I had. Thank God that your nerves would just go haywire at that point. As if he wasn't agonizing enough, his oblivious pet started stamping on his chest. He'd move, and a move he'd reportedly been doing all night. That's funny. Medics transported the injured cat owner to a trauma unit where he remained for 2 weeks, according to parents. He far from out of the woods. They'd say it would be 6 to 12 months he's back on his feet. Let's see. He's on a drug trial now because of the seizures. It won't. I won't be great for their 12 months. I'd have thought, limited the Music Man, who currently can't breathe without oxygen. So we have to go back to the hospital next week to see if they need to put a drain in to get rid of the blood that's left over. Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
That's
Weird.
I forget where I watched this at, but it was the ABCs of Death, and it was like a bunch of filmmakers got together, and they like for each letter in the alphabet, they showed a different way that you could die or whatever. And I don't think C or D was either.
I feel like I saw that movie somewhere.
Yeah, it was. I want to say it was a bunch of horror directors that got together and like they all each filmed a short or something. I'll have to look it up. It's been some time since I've seen it, but this even like, and they had to get pretty gnarly and insane with the way they kill people because I mean they had every letter of the alphabet represented. But even something like this didn't make that list. That's crazy. I mean, obviously it wouldn't be death by cat. I mean, obviously it would be death by falling down 14 stairs and bouncing off like a ping pong ball. But, you know, if I could see the headline of the article being death by cat, you know, I can see that too. I mean, just comically, that's tremendous.
That's why I say the only good cat is served with fried rice and MSG.
I can't do Chinese food. It don't agree with me. That's crazy. And the cat had
me just fine.
So okay.
Here's a good one.
So hang on, wait a minute. Did the cat fall down the stairs with him, or did it jump off?
No, it was unharmed from what you read.
Well, that's what I was saying, but it said unharmed, but it didn't say if it went down the stairs. Like, wouldn't that be something if the dude rolled 14 stairs and the cat was just like on top of him the whole time? That'd be something out of a Simpsons episode or something. That'd be hilarious.
Not sure.
Wow, that's crazy. Just look around your house. I mean, Frank, I know you've watched the Final Destination movies, right? I love those, the movies. The smallest little thing, like, you pour, some water drips onto your countertop and it leaks over to the power socket, and then, it causes an explosion. Like the littlest things can kill you. You don't even realize it. Like it's funny how stuff like that can happen. It's crazy.
You guys ready for some kinky shit happening over in Vegas?
Oh, always.
No, what's happening?
Vegas? I'm down. I'll pack my bags.
Disgusting tourist film. Busy road after Christmas bender in Sin City. What do we got here?
Wow.
Thai police are hunting.
Disgusting.
What appears to be a tawdry trend of 2022. A boy was filmed romping roadside with the paid sex worker on 4 a.m. Christmas Day in Pattaya. The Thailand resort town is known as Sin City because of its body bars and massage parlors. I'm sure that's all they do is massage. Shocking camera shows the horny holiday maker getting down and dirty by the side of a busy road, with the pair appearing unbothered by passing traffic. The woman was also seen performing oral sex on the man as multiple cars zoomed by their offensive alfresco antics. At one point, the blonde tourist even waved to the...
Nope.
Oh, Frank's internet bounced. Yeah. His, I guess we're still live.
Yeah,
can anybody?
I'm here.
It says live, so we'll just keep talking. Frank's computer is not real good. It goes out from time to time. But have y'all ever been to Vegas?
Yeah, I've delivered all those things.
I love it. Oh my God! But for something to be disgusting in Vegas standards, that's got to be bad.
It's got to be up there.
That's Sin City, you know what I mean?
Vegas has different standards than the rest of the world.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the Vegas standard of disgusting is much worse than like small town, in some little Christian, country town or what. That's insane. Like, oh my God, the Strip in Vegas is it's like could you imagine if like aliens landed? Oh, hang on, we got it back.
No,
Maybe.
All right.
So, anyways, that's when Frank was caught with his pants around his. Oh, hey, he's back. I was telling him about the plant.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
You weren't supposed to say anything.
Frank was sneaking a carrot out of the house, but he wasn't using his hands.
I'm actually kind of glad that my connection cut out right when it did, because there was some pictures. Yeah, there were some pictures that I was starting to question right as my connection dumped out for half a second, and I was like, "Okay, that's God telling me that I shouldn't be putting this shit on the internet." But,
so was it?
There's got to be some good
pictures
comments.
of the
judging
carnal nature. Is that what you're saying?
Sex worker, yeah. They were blurred out, but revealing enough to where I was kind of like, should I? But one of these says, judging by the appearance of the sex worker he was with, he more than likely is going to walk away from that encounter with more than just a happy ending. I hope he was at least coherent enough to avoid protection. Otherwise, I really hope he gets tested for FCC in the book the next day, if he remembers that is. Meanwhile, the uninhibited pair was also spotted by an outraged homeless man who immediately reported the incident. I always wonder what it would take to outrage a homeless person. Well, I like this one. Can we confirm that was a woman? Because I saw one in Bangkok.
The homeless guy was only mad because he wasn't the one getting it done to him. He would have been fine if he could have participated, but that's beside the point. I mean, well, that's what I was asking the guys was, for something to be disgusting by Vegas standards, that's some gnarly stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is gnarly. Good God. I'm trying to, let's see. I'm in debt and fake my own death on Facebook. Okay, whatever. Let's see what some dude faked his, what do you say? I'm in debt and fake my own death on Facebook. Court pics and all. So he put pictures of his own corpse on his Facebook page trying to convince people that he was dead.
He's probably trying to get away from a girlfriend. Which one of us hadn't done that before? Come on now.
Oh, it's too bad Casey wasn't here for this one. They're finally allowing the importation of sex dolls in South Korea. Oh, Casey.
Oh, there you go.
You could have held out just a little bit longer.
Oh, hey, I mean, even by Casey standards, they'd probably still deny him and say no. I mean, he'd probably still get shut down, but
they still have to have the Kim Jong-un haircut.
Off a cliff. Yeah.
All of them look like Kim Jong-un.
Oh, here's an interesting one. Let's see. Horrified family expects Christmas candy, but gets a skull in the mail instead.
They got a skull?
Oh, my God. Really, New York Post? Can you guys not think of better opening lines? They got a skull. I'm just mad that they can't think of better opening lines for these articles. An Alaska family got the fright of their lives when they opened a parcel from relatives in Australia and discovered a skull inside. Let's see. This one girl who grew up down under currently lives in Alaska with her 3 young kids, and the clan expected their grandparents to mail them some delicious Aussie treats for Christmas. However, when the package arrived, it didn't contain the spread of goodies they anticipated, and instead housed a skull and an array of other eerie items. Along with the skull, which appeared to be that of small animals, there was also a piece of fabric with symbols on it and a preserved fish in clear plastic, which was wrapped up like a mummy. Okay. Super.
I would have rather had the skull package.
Waiting on from Nana with ginger nuts, biscuits, lollies to find this. Easily captioned the recent message is on her Instagram, which showed her unboxing the bizarre mail. When speaking to Australia, Easy said she wasn't sure if the skull was real. Some dirt on it, so possibly. Let's see. October. Easy said there's no way her mom would have mailed the spooky item as a prank, as she had promised to send Australian treats to her grandkids as a Christmas gift. However, she doesn't believe there's malicious motive behind the mail delivery. That's weird.
Sounds like grandma's into some freaky shit they don't know about.
Share screen. It's
I think
pretty
their
weird.
package might have got flopped.
I don't know what this is the skull of.
Say.
Once it comes up, give it a second. It's a pretty odd looking. It looks like a turtle.
Is it
It kind of
like shorter or elongated or what? Let's see.
You don't really get a good look at it. I'm trying to bring it up. Give me 1 second. There we go. What kind of turtle? That's my guess. Give it a second to come up. It's just share my one screen is one of the reasons why I lost it for a minute. But I'm gonna try to share this because it looks weird. But yeah, super excited to see the package from Nana. What we have been waiting on, only to find. Blah blah blah. And it's a pretty weird looking thing. I really want to pull this up now so you guys can see it. I don't know why. There we go. I don't know why it's taking so long.
Oh.
But yeah, that's what it is.
Looks like a snapping turtle.
Yeah, I was gonna say snapping turtle. Because it's got like the snout that comes.
Odd.
Yeah.
Let's see. We think it's
yeah. So why were they shocked to get? I guess they're very
customs. Let me go ahead and.
I would have been like, hey, cool. I got more skulls to put with the collection I already have. But then again, what's up?
It says that she said we think the package had been opened by customs to inspect, and they had put the wrong stuff back in it. The UI.
You're muted, Frank.
Frankie.
You're muted.
He can't hear you.
Frankie Boo.
Sorry for the technical difficulties, folks.
It's all right. We don't blame you. We blame Frank.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know why I did that.
Whatever it was wasn't important. We know.
My customs to inspect. I blame Casey, but there's items, but the customs officers will always repack and resist Postal Service and the Australian Post for further comment, but they got nothing.
See, I'm willing to guess that package that sounded like that was supposed to go like, go to like a aquarium or something.
Looks weird.
You know what I mean? That was probably going to some kind of like science museum or something that you would show, like take kids to a field trip on or something.
Yeah, like they slapped the wrong label on each package.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
That's pretty.
The people at the Newport Aquarium are enjoying some candy.
Right, somebody at the aquarium got some candy bars and suckers from the land down under. Yeah,
that's the kind of thing you have to fuck up almost on purpose. It's like, I got some candy here and I got some fucking skulls of dead animals here. These things look kind of a lot alike. I just don't know which one goes in the box. I'll just go ahead and put them in there and hope.
I mean, in my home right now, I've got cow skulls, I've got deer skulls, I've got pig skulls. I'd take a tortoise one or a snapping turtle. I'd put it with a collection. Why not?
Basically, what you're saying is you're
psychotic. I only have the skulls of my enemies.
I have those too. If they don't talk no more.
Killing me.
I don't know, but I mean, then again, I'm trying to model my home after the Hewitt or the Sawyer home in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I like using animal products, but that's just me. So I'm a bit morbid, you could say. It's all good. So.
Bet.
We do have. Do you guys believe in Santa Claus?
No. No.
What version? The Christian.
I am Santa Claus
version.
I prefer Krampus myself, but I'll play along. Of course, I believe in Santa Claus. You know what I mean?
Well, do I have a story here for those of you who are believers? This might actually help your cause a little bit. Archaeologists believe they have discovered the tomb of Santa Claus. The team at St. Nicholas Church in Denray, Turkey, has found an intriguing shrine beneath the floors, previously unseen due to the tiled floor's intricate mosaic. Let me scroll down here real quick. It's actually a really cool looking church. I don't want to put it up on there right now, so I don't want to cause any more problems with my stream because the internet doesn't like me very much with my computer. But
yeah, they're gonna glitch out on you again.
Probably.
Oh, there it goes.
Well, I mean, okay, didn't we know that Saint Nicholas was already a real thing, and they created like what Western culture came up with Santa Claus as he exists today? Because even like England, like their version of Santa Claus is different than what ours is. Like they adopted our version of Santa Claus, right?
Yeah, the myth built up around an actual person.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Like if I remember, it used to be like a pagan tradition or holiday.
Well, yeah, Christmas is well. That's what the funny thing. We're a Christian nation, but we took all of the like Christmas and Halloween are all pagan holidays that we just adopted and made our a state approved version of or whatever. But yeah, Saint Nicholas, he was a real guy, but they modeled Santa Claus, Saint Nicholas after that. I do believe. I don't know all the history, but I know enough. So they found his tomb? Is that what you're saying?
They think they may have found
open it.
Yeah, we've seen this movie, damn it. Don't open it. They think they may have found a tomb of St. Nicholas, who the myth was based on. Let me go to the iPad since the computer is being kind of slow. Let me see if I can pull it there.
Yeah, I've got to plug my phone in. So now, where is this tomb? Like, where is it located?
It's in Turkey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize the guy that we modeled this after was that far away, but I'll be danged. That's something else.
All right.
The one time my iPad doesn't hold on to the magnetic thing is the one time I'm trying to move it. Let's see. Oh, that's real. I want to try to find the same article because I read it the other day and I actually kind of liked it, but what's interesting? There it is. This is from allthat'sinteresting.com. Let's see. The new Christmas theory is that Santa is a ghost. He must be because, according to archaeologists in Turkey, they found his grave buried beneath St. Nicholas Church in the town of Demre. For centuries, the location of the grave of St. Nicholas of Myra, the inspiration for the modern-day Santa Claus, has been contested. Historical records have claimed that he was buried at the church that bears his name, but extensive searches of the grounds revealed nothing of substance. Meanwhile, many believe that his remains had been smuggled out of the church by Italian merchants during the medieval times. After all, there was an empty grave in the building that had clearly been looted, and that the body of the man thought to be St. Nicholas was laid to rest in Italy during the Crusades. However, the head of Antilla's Monument Authority, Semil Karabayram, told the local news that he and his team had found a shrine beneath the floors of St. Nicholas Church, previously unseen due to the tiled floor's intricate mosaic. He said they found the shrine during a routine survey. They uncovered what they believed to be a tomb, which may hold the remains of the real St. Nicholas. As for the man laid to rest in Italy, some experts now say those remains may belong to another person, and the grave once thought to hold St. Nicholas may have held someone else. Duh. Though the discovery has yet to be proven via excavation, Karabayram, wow, I'm going to butcher all these names, is determined to follow through with the next step, even though it will be a long, tedious, and complicated process to complete. We believe the shrine has not been damaged at all, but it is quite difficult to get to it as there are mosaics in the floor. Each tile will need to be removed one by one so the floor can be returned to its present glory. Let's see. Still, Karabayram remains optimistic that he will find St. Nicholas. He plans to hire a new team comprised of scientists with 8 different specialties to work at the site. The groundwork has already begun, and Karabayram says the team will hopefully unearth the shrine's secret soon. Many locals will likely be thrilled by the discovery, as St. Nicholas remains a strong fixture in the area. Another church in the town even plays host to a Santa Claus museum, and a sarcophagus pays tribute to the famed saint. And then it goes on to some stuff about St. Nicholas, his history, and so on. But one thing is for sure, the recent discovery is the real grave is concerned, the history books will certainly need to be updated. I don't know. What do you think, Mikkel? Is this the real-life grave of St. Nicholas, who is the basis of the myth of Santa Claus?
No. I don't. I mean, it could be, but I doubt it.
Well, I mean, I don't know how well the historical record was back then, but surely they could unlock something that tells us if it is or it ain't. You know what I mean?
Well, my question is, how would we even know?
Right.
I mean, it's not like we have any living descendants that we know of that we can test DNA against. Not that his DNA would be that useful anyway.
Right. Well, I mean, when did they allegedly find the tomb of Jesus? I don't remember when that was, but somehow they proved it or something. I don't even remember.
That was
I don't know.
50 years ago.
Well, I'm trying to think. Well, he was a saint, so he was part of the church, so he probably doesn't have a bloodline or children that we know of. Okay.
It used to be traditional for there to be inscribed, not so much a marker, but a stone.
Right, yeah.
And I think that's about the best we can hope for in this scenario to find out one way or another.
Now, did he get sainthood before or after death? Is my question now.
Well, to be interred in a church.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, I don't think you get sainthood until after you've been dead for several years.
Yeah, you can't be canonized until after death.
Okay, so it's possible he does have a family and a bloodline. Then I guess because I was thinking it's like maybe he was like a holy man who never had kids or anything else, so we couldn't do that. But I mean, if that's a possibility, then that's something to go by. But
yeah, but who even tracks their genealogy that far back? How would you even know?
Well, and then you have to bring into question: do you trust it? Like, what's that whole 23andMe nonsense and Ancestry.com or whatever? I've seen people take these tests at the same time and get completely different results. I mean, they could be making it up for all you know. You know what I mean? I mean, I've tracked, like, my family. I'm a 7th generation Texan. We've been here since early 1800s. And then before that, it goes back to Germany. But that's about as far as I know. I couldn't tell you where in Germany, but, they were, whatever. I have no clue.
As far as the tomb of Jesus, it says the Garden Tomb was a rock-cut tomb in Jerusalem, which was unearthed in 1867, and is considered by many Protestants to be the tomb of Jesus. But from this little bit of reading, there is not one specific tomb that everybody is really sure is the actual tomb that Jesus was put in. So,
yeah, the Catholics have their own supposed burial slab in the sepulcher.
Right.
But then, is that something you really want to have out there? Like, even if you did find it, or they found the tomb of Saint Nick, like, would it be safe just to say, "Oh yeah, this is where this guy's been at"? Like, cool. We could all be cool people, nice information to know. You find someone out there who just wants to be an ass, goes where the supposed thing is found and just destroys it. I mean, it's better to not know where it's at than to know where it's at.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, are they going to make like this tomb a historical site? Are they going to like? I mean, let's say it is Saint Nick's tomb. Just for argument's sake, whatever. I mean, obviously it will be protected, I would think, and everything else. But I mean, you never really know with situations like this. I mean,
well, the tomb itself is under the floor of the church. And earlier he said something about them reconstructing the floor. So I imagine once they get an answer, they're just going to seal it back up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you would think so. Because, I mean, You know,
but then it would become, this is the church of, well, it's already the church of Saint Nick.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's kind of already a thing there. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how Turkey does all their historical document stuff, but I mean, I know here, like, when we find a historical site like that, it normally becomes something more. So I don't know. I mean, it's very interesting. Is this a new story, Frank? Like, when was this done?
This is from October of 2021, so it's a little more than a year old.
Okay. So, I mean, has there been any updates on this? I mean, do we know any more? Or?
It says it was updated November 2nd of this year, so a little more than a month ago, about 6 weeks ago.
Okay. That's interesting. I mean,
yeah, I read the updated article, so there's not really anything terribly new.
Right.
Yeah.
How we do it though? We got no DNA, right?
Yeah, I mean, DNA needs to be very carefully handled to make sure it maintains its integrity. So just throwing this guy in a casket in the ground and letting it sit there for a few hundred years is not going to protect the DNA. It has to. I mean, the temperature has to be controlled. The humidity has to be controlled. I mean, it has to be air sealed so that any bacteria doesn't get in there and eat up the viable DNA. So it's really, really difficult to say that they're going to find any good DNA. For a comparison's sake, just 40 years ago or so, when the Zodiac killer was doing his thing, they went back about 10 years ago and checked some DNA from the Zodiac letters they have in their possession. They thought they pulled some DNA off the letters because they figured he licked them to seal the letters, so they got some DNA. But the problem is those letters weren't kept in a state that would preserve the DNA, so they thought it was going to degrade to the point where it wouldn't be feasible. So when they ran the DNA test, that they ended up coming back inconclusive. Didn't come back with any yes or no answer, just came back as inconclusive. So, and I would imagine you get a lot of the same here because there would be even less DNA after several hundreds of years of these remains just sitting there exposed to the elements, the dirt, the bugs, the air, the whatever, that there would just be no reliable DNA to use. I don't know how they would do that either. So I don't know.
Turkey tends to be a dry, arid place.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those are conditions that can be optimal for surviving DNA, but still, with the age of it.
For several hundred years, though.
I mean, mummies, they pull DNA from,
but the mummification process was actually very specific. And that could have played a part in it. If you're just putting a guy in a box and burying him in the ground and saying, okay, he's dead, so we're done with him, that's a lot different.
Yeah.
Let's see. So you're talking about the 4th century. A 4th century Greek bishop, St. Nicholas of Myra, was revered for his generosity, especially towards children. He was known for popularizing the tradition of leaving secret gifts for loved ones around the holidays. This gave rise to the Dutch legend Sinterklaas, and later, of course, Santa Claus. It's little wonder why St. Nicholas is one of the most famous Christian figures of all time. But while much has been said about his life and legends, little is known for sure about his death. The only time we'll tell whether we get a full answer about his final resting place. So there's not really, it's probably going to be several years, I would imagine, before there's any real update on this. There's a lot of testing, a lot of stuff that has to go into it.
Right.
I don't know. Put a 1 in the chat if you think this is the grave of St. Nicholas.
Well, and I mean, let's say it is. Let's say that does become, well, they can specifically prove that, that was him and this is his site. I mean, you would think that Turkey would want that too, because could you imagine tourism to go actually see Saint Nick on Santa Claus? I could see that becoming a thing. You know what I mean? I could very well see the marketing ability of something like this. You know what I mean?
I ain't flying my kids to Turkey to tell Santa what they want. Ain't happening.
All right, kids, tell Santa Claus what you want. They're talking to a tomb with a pile of dust in it where the bones used to be. I'll tell you what, the pictures with Santa Claus would be a lot more interesting. Okay.
Not only that, but then finally all those letters can go to where it's supposed to go.
Right, yeah, you could. they can cut a mail slot in the tomb, and you can drop your letter off with Santa Claus that way. I mean, it'd be great. They can collect the letters that way. And then, I mean, Christmas is going to get a lot more morbid than it already is. I like this. I kind of hope this is, because I like spooky Christmas better than just, holly jolly, whatever. So I could get behind something like this, you know what I mean?
And then
I don't know. So, okay, Mikkel, he had to go get a drink or something. Mikkel, would you sit on Santa Claus's lap if he was dead in a tomb to get your picture made? Would you do that?
No.
Would you climb in the tomb so we could take your picture with him just one time?
No.
Why not?
No. He didn't do it.
I would drink beer from his skull.
6 and 6. That's what I was going to say. I'd take the head out. We could play catch with it, get a drink out of it, do whatever we needed to do.
No. Too much bad juju.
You know how many bitches you can pick up? Look what I got. This is Santa.
Yeah.
Oh, they could even
get
take
a lot of bitches out of that psych board.
As long as they remove the body, obviously it's probably dust by now. There's nothing left. But, put a Santa Claus suit on what's left of the remains. That is a must that they do need to do that.
If they find it, it's just leave it closed. That's too much bad juju right there.
Oh, no, even better. Get rid of the old tomb. We need a clear tomb, like plexiglass or something, right? And we have him sitting in a big Santa Claus chair, so Mikhail can go visit him and sit on his lap to get his picture made. That's what we need to do. I like it. Just put me in charge of it. I'll make sure all the kids hate Christmas for generations. It'll be tremendous. You know what I mean?
Does that mean I get to start sleeping in Christmas Day? Because I might be on board.
Yeah.
Me too.
It'll probably cost you less on Christmas gifts, so I'll be saving you some money there. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of like that idea. I mean, obviously, this is probably one of those things where they will never actually prove if this is actually him or not, and it will just be one of those lore things or whatever, if I had to guess. But, I mean, you never really know with something like that. That's what's so cool about it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could go either way. I don't know. Just for making Christmas a little more spooky, I hope it is real, and we make Mikhail go give old Santa Claus a kiss on the cheek in there, because I can get down with something like that. Come on, Mikhail. You ain't going to get no presents if you don't go sit on his lap, that's already creepy, by the way.
Hey, Tex, you drive, I'll taser him and throw him in the back.
Oh, yeah, we'll get him there. You know what? We'll get like a big feed bag. I've got one out in the building there, and we'll just whack him in the head, right? And there's ways of getting him over there. You know, Mikhail, we'll make sure that you're not locked in the tomb for too long with old Santa Claus. You know what I mean?
No.
So, okay.
$20.
All right, Mikhail. What did Santa Claus bring you this year? Or did you get coal in that stocking? What did you bring? What were your gifts this year? What did you get?
I got coal.
You got coal?
A new shirt. New
Oh, nice.
I got I'll be right back.
Do you think, bud?
Okay.
Yep.
You back, Frank?
Yeah, I'm back. There is at least one more story I want to go into. I'll probably hit up a couple of the websites to try to find at least one more. But there's one more that caught my eye the other day that I thought was pretty insane. A mother was left fighting for her life after a gnat bite suffered mowing the lawn 13 years ago turned deadly.
What?
What?
You wouldn't think getting bit by a mosquito was necessarily going to be deadly. I mean, we're not in places like Southeast Asia or whatever where malaria is really a thing. I mean, I know there actually has been some cases, but it's not really a thing. But this woman this is according to the Mirror in UK. A mother is lucky to escape with her life and limbs after a gnat bite she suffered 13 years ago left her in critical condition. Georgia Austin was tended to her garden in 2009 when she was bitten. At the time, the bite was merely an irritating insect bite, which she had no clue would pose a serious risk to her life more than a decade down the line. Hold on. Let's see. But the 4 pinhole-sized bites never healed, which Georgia suspects was due to an iron deficiency developing into a rare condition, pyoderma gangrenosum, which causes nasty ulcers. The gruesome sores later brought on sepsis, a life-threatening blood infection of the blood. I am not going to put these pictures online. I mean, I will. Hey, what I'll do, I'm going to go ahead and put this link in the chat so you guys can go look at it. I'll put this link so you guys can go kind of read. The pictures are pretty. They're pretty brutal.
You're saying viewer discretion advised? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, make sure that you have your shit tied your shit tied on straight if you want to watch this.
So everybody go get an adult, your parent or grandparent, or have them hold your hand while you look at them. You'll be okay.
Let's see. The 40-year-old from Essex was hospitalized in May this year after her health took a turn for the worse, resulting in her losing of her 2 sons. She was then delivered the terrible news that both her legs may need to be amputated in order to save her life. Miraculously, the terrified mother has since made a full recovery and has now been able to enjoy Christmas for the first time in 13 years since the wounds healed. I've had no life and have been in agony for 13 years, said the stay-at-home mom. I lost both my little boys due to my bad health, and it got out of control. You wouldn't believe that my legs are finally getting better. I'm so happy and over the moon after being frustrated for so long. The rare skin condition was diagnosed 2 years after the bites and then migrated to her other leg, stopping her from working for over a decade. Georgia has also paid tribute to the dedicated work of community nurses who treated her ulcers every 3 days for months, citing them with her full recovery. She was put into a coma in May after not being able to breathe. And her family were told to say their goodbyes. The link to this is in the chat if you guys want to go check this out. But yeah, Bearded Fern's already gone and looked at it. Yeah, these pictures are pretty brutal. But let's see. Since she came out of the hospital, she's learned to walk again, and now one of the ulcers is 50% healed. She says she's used her experience to warn anyone with nasty wounds to seek urgent medical attention, as untreated wounds can result in clinical problems later on. Go ahead.
Who's that?
Damn.
What are you saying, Tex? Go ahead.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that, but no, yeah, I mean, how many times have you been just mowing the lawn and you get a bite on the back of your neck and you swat it and keep on going, you don't even think twice,
I know.
It's like, you don't have to be mowing the lawn. Any kind of summer, you're out at the swimming pool with the kids and you get a mosquito bite on you or something. I mean, who knows what's going to kill you before it happens? That's insane. 13 years though, holy crap! I mean,
yeah, Georgia has since enrolled in a flower arranging course in January and plans to spend a quiet Christmas with her sister Paige, and is now hoping she will be able to have her boys aged 13 to 17 back home soon. So Jesus Christ, I mean, she's missed out on almost all of her kids' lives at this point.
Right. Well, hopefully now that it's, resolved, she can, enjoy whatever she's got left. But God bless her. I mean, that's horrible from something as minor as a, mosquito bite on the neck or the arm or whatever. That, that's crazy. I mean,
and these pictures are fucking brutal.
I'm not one that uses like bug spray or anything regular. Hell, I don't even like use sunscreen on my skin. Who knows what's in that stuff? But are we sure this story wasn't endorsed by like Raid or some, bug spray company or something?
She got the early form of the vaccine. She got.
Oh, that makes. She was the test dummy 13 years ago. See, this actually plays into one of Casey's conspiracy theories that the bugs are little spine devices that they loaded the sickness in on her. This is starting to make sense now. All the pieces are coming together. Maybe Alex Jones was right after all, and Cora was wrong. So see, there you go. I mean, this is just proof right here.
Yeah, that's
telling you what.
Insane.
That's crazy, though. I mean, to think. I mean, stories like this make me think, how many times have I almost died this week? Like, oh, well, if I had not stopped at that red light 2 seconds later, or something like that, once you start thinking about stuff like that, it really makes you wonder. That's crazy, though.
Yeah, that's some pretty crazy shit. Like, on the comments below, I know Bearded Fern went and looked at that. He's like, holy shit, her leg looks so fucked up. Seriously, if you go look, I don't want to put these pictures up here because it might be a little much, but I mean, it really does look like flesh-eating bacteria or something got a hold of her. I mean, it's like I've seen, because one of my relatives got bit by one of the brown recluse spiders several years ago.
I did too. I've gotten that on my arm before.
And he still has like a chunk of his leg that is like, it's like a little crater right there. It's not overly noticeable, but I mean, if you look at it, there's supposed to be a little bit more leg there, and there's not quite. And that's fairly, and that wound was fairly small compared to what this chick was working with. I mean, she was fucked up. But
well, on my left arm, on my forearm, it's about the size of the end of a writing pen, like not the pointy part, but like the actual body of the pen. I got bit by a brown recluse. It was 14 years ago, and they had to core my arm out. Like, they actually cut out like a cylinder piece of flesh out to get the egg sac and stuff out of my arm for all the poison and whatever. And they didn't even get it all. It spread to my left armpit, and I got 3 knots the size of $50. And they had to go in there and lance them out and get all the nastiness out. And the doctor had said if I didn't get it quicker than, like if I had waited, that it would have killed me. It would have went right to my heart because it was already right there in my armpit or whatever. So you just got to watch. You got to take stuff like that seriously. Because I mean, I'll forever have that place in my arm where they cut that chunk out. Like, it's like it. You can feel the difference when you run your finger over it, but it's crazy.
Yeah, that's some crazy shit. But if you get a chance, if your stomach is not overly weak, you should definitely go check out the article. It's in the chat.
Right.
Bearded Fern was not joking when he said her leg looks fucked up. It is
some
serious shit. I'm really glad this lady's getting better because you never know how some shit like this is going to go. I mean,
well,
like Tex said, I mean, we swat at mosquito bites while we're out in the yard doing stuff, and we walk away, and we never really think about it after that. But this woman's been dealing with the ramifications of it for 13 years. But
boy, it is popping off. It is popping off in the fantasy football group. Apparently, Drew has a chance to win his game against TSS. I'm hoping Drew wins. Apparently, it's close. Yeah, last night,
2 stinkers, 2 players put up stinkers, and that cost me the game.
Dude, your kicker, that freaking Rams kicker got like 50 field goal or like extra points and field goals yesterday. That bug.
They dropped half a honey on Detroit.
Oh, I know. Like, I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, wait, like halfway through, I'm like, okay, I'm praying for a hamstring pull. Just get this kicker out of the game so I can win this thing finally. Like, that's what I was hoping for by this point. But oh my God, they kept going with the kicks, man. If I was a Broncos fan, I'd be hating myself right now. But that was an embarrassing game, dude. What was that yesterday? Holy cow.
I don't know. Well, I mean, on that, I mean, I think EJ said in the chat earlier, I was going to go to this later. I mean, and there it is right there. Breaking news. Denver Broncos head coach has been fired, and they hired Jerry Roseberg. How do you guys feel about that? I have no idea who the hell Jerry Roseberg is.
I do not know that name.
Never heard the guy's name before in my entire life.
If it's not Bengals or OSU, I do not pay attention to sports news.
Would you would you want to be the Broncos head coach right now? I'd be like, yeah, no, good. I'll just go work at Walmart. Yeah, good luck with y'all's mess.
Well, I mean, part of me thinks that if you if you're a young coach just trying to get your feet to get some exposure, you take whatever job they give you, because you might not take the shittiest team in the league and turn them into a Super Bowl contender the next year. But I mean, the idea either you have good fortune and you can build a winner and it makes you look great, or you do some great things to where like you may not be able to hang out there long enough to get the complete job done, but other places, other teams that are already in a bit better shape, maybe they look at you and say, you know, that guy can help us take the next step. Maybe we'll go ahead and hire him if he's available. And then you just kind of like slowly work your way up. They have these things, they talk about it a lot in college basketball. They're called stepping stone jobs. Because I live very close to the University of Dayton. And the University of Dayton has always been considered one of those stepping stone jobs. It's like they're a team that's never really going to contend for the national title. They'll find themselves ranked like anywhere from 20th to 25th in the top 25. They're never really going to make a big jump into like the top 10 or top 5. They're never really going to have a significant shot at a Final Four. I think they made it to the Final Four 6 or 8 years ago. That was a big deal. But it's like they're never really contenders. Nobody ever looks at them and says they're going to be a great team this year. So. But a lot of the guys that have gone through that team as a coach, I mean, they've ended up at places like Oliver Purnell, I think, was at Clemson for a while. There's a couple of coaches that have gone on to do some other to coach at bigger colleges, and a couple of them even gone to be like assistant coaches at the pro level. So it's one of those stepping stone jobs that help you kind of get the exposure you need. And I feel like Denver could be one of those. If you can just find a way to make that shit work more than it's working now, which shouldn't be hard because, God, they are a fucking train wreck in Denver right now. Did you see that shit that happened yesterday at the game? The guys were going to do a showy match on the sidelines.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what was so funny. The Broncos were fighting harder after the game than they were during the game. I mean, even when what's the Rams quarterback that got picked up? What's his face?
Mayfield.
Yeah, whenever Mayfield was doing his post-game interview, even one of the, like, he was on live TV doing this interview, one of the Broncos came up and kind of shoulder bumped him trying to start something. Like, Baker Mayfield, like, told the woman, was like, hey, watch out, you know, whatever, because, like, they were trying to start stuff that bad. I mean, that was just embarrassing. The one person from the Broncos I'll give credit to is the backup quarterback, because did you see where he went up to the offensive line by himself and confronted all of them during the game?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, that takes some guts to go do something like that. But my goodness, it was like a slaughter fest. Like that game, and then the Tampa game last night. I don't know if the sportscaster meant to say this or not, but like right before halftime, whenever it was 6-6, the guy goes, well, what do you want me to say? It's a 6-6 game. You know, like they were reaching for anything to talk about, because it was like a couple of those games were just, one was a blowout and the other one, nobody could do anything on. So, I mean, it just shows you how wide football can go. I mean, the Rams just put it on Denver yesterday, though. They were doing whatever they wanted to. It's like they were playing it's like they were playing a JV team or something.
Well, when you go back to that, it's like not this weekend, but last weekend when the Bengals were playing against whoever it was, I don't remember. We were getting our ass fucking whooped before halftime. Magically, we come back during halftime and we scored, what was it, 32 consecutive points?
Well, look at who y'all got at quarterback. You've got Joe Burrow, one of the best quarterbacks in football. I'd rather have Joe Burrow than I would rather have him than Patrick Mahomes if it was me. I mean, if I had to pick one of the two, I'm going Burrow.
No.
I just wish we got our line straight. Then we'd be a little bit better.
Cincinnati's not far.
No,
Cincinnati's not far. I mean, they're pretty close. I mean, are y'all leading your division right now?
We have clinched our setup. We are inside the playoffs. It's just depending on where we're at for the postseason.
Now, I mean, I've predicted the Super Bowl. I'm going Cowboys versus Bills. That's who I think is going to be in it. And obviously, Frank's going to laugh at me and call me a cowboy homer and probably make a fag joke or something. That's all good with me. But
I'm just going to let that comment stew until we get to that.
Hey, no, I stand by it. I'm telling you. Dallas will play Buffalo in the Super Bowl, and the Bills will win.
I don't
I've said it on record. What do you think, Mikhail?
The Eagle. I am Cowboy fan, but I don't know if we can play like that when the quarterback come back.
I don't think Jalen Hurts is as good as everybody thinks he is. I think it's the team, not Jalen Hurts. That's my point. I mean, if the backup, if the backup,
on Saturday, they could won that game too. They had a chance to win that game, but we won the game.
Like I said, I think it's going to come down in the NFC Championship to the 49ers in Dallas, and I think it's going to be a high-scoring game because, I mean, let's be honest, Dallas gives up turnovers like you're handing over pies. Dak can't not turn the ball over. But with San Francisco not having a good quarterback anymore, because let's be honest, Mr. Irrelevant's not – he's not, you know – what?
I tell new call about I think a good call about about defense, about offense. I think 49ers could beat the Cowboys. I'm sorry, Ted, but
I don't think so. I mean, anything's possible.
The way we lost that game in Jacksonville, and we almost lost against the Texans. They won one game.
But look at what the Cowboys did to the Minnesota Vikings, who was allegedly one of the best teams in football. What's that, Frank? What did you say, Frank?
I like the Niners' chances because their defense is like. Because remember when Baltimore won it in whatever Ray Lewis's one of his last years, whatever, when they had
2000
first quarterback. That team had whatever year it was. That sounds about right. But they had just an amazing defense.
I think it was
that the Niners have right now. But the Niners have a much better offense. And it's not just the quarterback, because it's like, if you think about it, Dilfer wasn't exactly a Hall of Famer. At no point in his career was anybody relying on Trent Dilfer to win them games.
Not at all.
He had a good enough offense and a killer defense to win the Super Bowl. The Niners have a killer defense, just like that Ravens team did. And they have an offense that is set up where even I could go out there and throw two touchdown passes. It's those quick screens or the quick passes to guys like McCaffrey or Ayuk or Debo or even Jawan Jennings, who I think would be a solid number 2 on any other team in the NFL. You get to these guys and just let them do what they do after the catch. It's like a little thing out in the flat to Debo, and he 5 yards on the pass, but then he runs for 30 yards after. And then after you've got the defense spread out over on the sidelines to cover these guys, that's when you bust Kittle or somebody like that on a route over the middle, either Kittle or Ayuk, or even send like McCaffrey or one of the other running backs out there. And then the middle's wide open for these guys to just catch and run. I don't think there's any defense yet that has managed to put the Niners offense kind of on hold. And even if you manage to put the passing game in check, they can run with Debo, they can run with McCaffrey, they can run with Houston, they can run with Wilson, or not the other guy who they kept. But they even have that guy Mason who's killer. It's like there's so many weapons here. I don't know that any defense can really, because you're going to have to go one-on-one and stop them all. And I don't think you've got an entire defensive back contingency that's full of guys that you can put on an island with all those guys and keep them all in check for every play. There's going to be every play, at least one of them is going to be open, and that's who the quarterback's got to hit.
Yeah.
But see, that's my whole thing. You have an inexperienced quarterback, and even you yourself at the beginning of the season. We're talking about McCaffrey. You were waiting for somebody to draft him so you could roast him. You can't count on this guy to stay healthy. I mean, he's got a track record of it. Do the Niners?
But
the Niners have
this year? But
he has so far. He has so far. That doesn't mean he's going to for the rest of the season, and that's the whole thing. But like I said, I think it's going to be Cowboys-Niners in the NFC Championship game. And I do think Dallas can get over the Eagles with Jalen Hurts. Yes, it was a shootout Saturday for them to beat them, but I do think they got it. Obviously the biggest thing hurting Dallas of getting to the Super Bowl is Dallas themselves, and if Dak cannot turn the freaking ball over, and to be fair, at the beginning of the game yesterday, he had the one interception. He got it out of the way. And from that point on, he was money. But when you've got people like CeeDee Lamb, we've got the defense is not great. The pass defense, yes, they do give up a lot of points, but I think they can pull it together. And I think an NFC Championship game with Cowboys and 49ers is going to be like a video game on Madden. I think it's what it's going to be. And I'm here for it. I can't wait to watch it. So I hope they get there. I think that's what it's going to be. So, but I don't think anybody's beating the Bills though. I think the Bills are the best team in football right now. Even San Francisco or Dallas, I don't think either of them will beat them. I'd love to see it happen. But
they look pretty in the last 3 or 4 weeks, but
go ahead, Mikhail.
Go ahead, Mikhail.
Bengal all good when we got you how good Joe Burrow is playing right now. Look what he did to Tom Brady. And we all know Tom Brady is a GOAT, but
he may be the GOAT, but he's kind of washed up now.
Yeah.
He couldn't even get anything going against a bad Cardinals defense last night. So he's not the Tom Brady that he used to be.
Tom Brady hung his own noose. That's what the hell he did after retirement. He's like, oh, cool, my career's over. Let's go and hang this up and go try to play a few more seasons.
I heard Colin Cowherd say something a week or two ago that makes a lot of sense to me. He's like, back in the prime of the New England days for Tom Brady, he could make other people look good. The receivers didn't have to be great. They just had to catch the ball. That's all they had to do. Yeah. Tom would put it in their hands. All they had to do was catch it and go down, and that's how they move the ball down the field. I mean, sure, maybe occasionally they'd bust a big gain or whatever, but that wasn't what he does. He said now Tom Brady isn't good enough to do that. He has to rely on a good supporting staff to help him be successful. Why did he decide to go to Tampa Bay in the first place? Because Tampa Bay was a playoff level team with Jameis Winston, who threw 40 touchdowns and 40 interceptions in 1 year. So all Tom Brady has to do is go in there and throw half as many, because he can throw 30 to 40 touchdowns a year. He's got that potential. All he had to do was go in there and throw half as many interceptions. They're going to win 3 more games to go to the NFC title game. And they're going to be more successful with Tom Brady. So he knew he was going to a place where he was going to be successful. They gave him the weapons that he didn't feel New England was giving him. Now he doesn't have that. He's got nothing. He's got Leonard Fournette at the running back spot. He's got all of his wide receivers been banged up. His most reliable receiver is Julio Jones, who's on his last legs anyway. I mean, he used up all his best years in Atlanta, so he's got nobody. This is one of the things that's got everybody talking about how Brady might go to the Niners. And I really wish people would stop making this a thing, because even though I think it would be interesting to see him there for a year or two with this squad, I don't really want him, because I want long-term success. I don't want a Super Bowl next year. I want 5 Super Bowls over the next 12 or 13 years. I think that's look, nobody who wins 1 Super Bowl is a dynasty. I want dynasty back. That's what I want. But I feel like Tom Brady could go there and he could do exactly what Brock Purdy's been doing. He could just hit Ayuk and Debo or hand the ball off to Christian McCaffrey and let them do all the work, and he would get all the glory for it. But the problem is you have Brock Purdy doing that already. You've got Jimmy Garoppolo who had been doing that already. You've got Trey Lance, who I think they were trying to get him to do that, but they want him to be a little bit more of a mobile quarterback, which I think is a terrible idea. Mobile quarterbacks don't win Super Bowls. So I'm kind of like, why would you pay Tom Brady money when you've got Brock Purdy and Jimmy Garoppolo already available to you that you're already paying a lot less money to do the exact same thing and win you the exact same games? You're paying $100 for something that you can get for $20. You know what I mean? That's kind of what the only reason you would be doing it is to sell tickets. And I don't think
that's all it is.
Yeah. I don't think it does you any good. Sure, you might. The Niners can sign Brady and probably win the Super Bowl next year. That sounds about right on paper. I mean, as I do the quick math in my head, it sounds like a possibility. But then what happens the year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that? Tom Brady's not around for that stuff. Then you're looking for a quarterback again. Then what do? Do you go back to Trey Lance? Well, Trey Lance is going to feel kind of jaded because all he did was break his ankle trying to win you a game in week 2, so he might want out. Garoppolo is going to be gone at the end of this year no matter what happens. Brock Purdy's just there to be there. He knows he's probably doesn't have that great of a career ahead of him. It's been nice to see him do what he's doing, but he knows what his place in this world is. He knows it's going to be the backup. It's pretty much the backup wherever he goes. Yeah. You're not gonna hand him the keys to the Cadillac. Then what do you do after Tom Brady? A year or two that you have no quarterback, all these weapons, and then what? What do you do with him? You're going to end up going back to a guy like Garoppolo, who you've jaded in the past anyway. You think Garoppolo's going to want to come back, even if he's only got a year or two left? No, because then you just put yourself in the same position with Garoppolo then that you're putting yourself in with Brady now.
Well, when it comes to Brady, obviously he, like Mikkel said, I don't think Brady's the best of all time. How many times have we had that argument over on a Sunday night on Derailed? Joe Montana, Troy Aikman, and Peyton Manning, we all went back and forth depending on who our favorite team was. Brady's not the GOAT. He may be modern day, but, let's say the 49ers were to try to score Brady. It's like you said, they're going to have to way overpay for – he's what, 45, 46 years old now? I mean, he's not a spring chicken. And, when you watch Brady practice, he can still sling that ball as far down the field as he wants to. But, Father Time catches all. And I don't think I don't see Brady getting another Super Bowl, especially not at Tampa. I mean, we knew that was a win right now project. And sure, some other team could scoop him up and try to get a Super Bowl. And San Francisco would be the closest contender to do that with. You could plug Brady in and win right now, but it's I agree with what you said. It's better to build for the future than to just get one right now. So Brady might play till he's 50, but I don't think he's getting another ring. If I were him, I would have retired after he won in Tampa. I would have went out on top, but he can't let it go. So, it's his decision. It's his career.
Hey, Frank, go to where your brother player Jimmy G. Where your brother play right now,
next year, Brady or Jimmy G?
No, player Jimmy G.
Oh, Brady or Jimmy G?
Honestly, I'd rather take Jimmy G. And the whole reason I picked Jimmy G, because I know me and Justin had this conversation a long time ago.
No, not Brady.
Oh, Trey Lance.
Lance. Oh.
Yeah.
For next year, I would take Jimmy G. I think Trey Lance needs another year. And this is what I was saying a long time ago. I think we even talked about this on Derailed at one point. I would rather Trey Lance have sat for another year, learned the system a little bit better, had another offseason of draft picks and free agency to help give him the best possible situation to come in as a rookie and to kill it. Jimmy G was already there. He was already established. You're already paying him this money. You couldn't trade him because whatever. Teams didn't want him, his injury history, his contract, whatever the reasons were, they didn't want him. So you already got him. You're already paying him. He's already gotten you to 2 NFC title games and a Super Bowl. Why not sit on him? Why not just go ahead and keep him one more year? So that way, if you do have to release him and eat a little bit of contract, you're eating a hell of a lot less. And on top of that, it's like, look, Trey Lance is only 21 years old. It's not like they're in a big. It's not like time is working against him right now. Look, if he sat this year, you would have had Garoppolo. You would have had Brock Purdy, as we found out. I mean, hindsight's 2020. We also would have had Brock Purdy, who apparently works pretty well in the system. So you would have had 3 quarterbacks that can work really well in your system, and you would have had them all under contract for a long time. You would have had both Brock Purdy and Trey Lance on their rookie contracts, which means that they're yours for a while. And so if at the end of this year, let's say you get the NFC title game again, you lose, okay, whatever. You've made it. Now you've got a great team. You've got another draft, another free agency, and then you're going to put Trey Lance in there next year as your week 1 starter. You've gone ahead and let Jimmy Garoppolo walk away. You traded him. He went for his free agent, whatever, and you're established. And you're giving him the best team that any rookie quarterback has ever had. Right. And you've got him in his 22-year-old season. So you're going to have at least 10 to 12 years of prime Trey Lance, 100% healthy. He's got 2 or 3 years learning this offense. He's got 2 or 3 years of NFL growth. He would be the most equipped rookie quarterback to ever play NFL football. Right. But they rushed him out there because he was the number 1 pick, and a lot of fans were like, we want to move on from Jimmy, blah, 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 which was stupid because the guy's got a fucking 800 winning percentage as a starter. It's dumb to me. This is one of the reasons why I say fans should never be GMs, because they would do stupid emotional shit when it comes to decision making for personnel and not look at a guy and be like, you're kind of on the end, pal. We need to make a move. Look, as a 49er fan, I was losing my mind when they let Joe Montana go. I was like, how do you do that? How do you not let Joe Montana finish his career as a 49er? But the reality is we needed to make way for the next generation to come in. Steve Young comes in, wins another Super Bowl, has a bunch of success, wins a lot of big games. That wouldn't have happened unless Joe Montana had left. And who's to say that if Joe Montana would have played another 2 or 3 years, that Joe Montana would have had any success with the Niners? So I mean, you got to look at things objectively, and fans don't look at things objectively. They look at things emotionally.
Oh, it killed me. Whenever I saw Emmitt Smith wearing the Arizona Cardinals uniform, I wanted to vomit. I hated seeing that.
That should never have happened.
That broke my good. Oh my God! I remember sitting there watching that, and I'm like hell had just froze over. Emmitt Smith is a bird on his helmet instead of a star, and I mean,
almost how I felt about Dalton. Like, I understand Dalton wasn't holding up well. He had plenty of injuries before they let him go. But if we had let him stay for that last year of his contract where he wanted to retire, just be done with the NFL, he was going to retire after his contract with the Bengals. Okay, cool. Maybe Burrow would have been a little bit better. Not, he wouldn't have got the first year injury, been out the whole year.
Yeah.
It's like he would have had a chance to get to the NFL level in practice.
Well, I mean, obviously we all, as football fans, you have I mean, even somebody like Troy Aikman, who's my favorite quarterback of all time, whenever he was done with Dallas, he wanted to go on and continue playing, but no team would take him because of the concussion issue and stuff that he had. So I mean, his retirement was more of a forced thing, whereas Emmett still had the opportunity, but he goes and plays 1 season and gets his leg broke, and then he's done. But just like with the Joe Montana or whatever, I mean, it's really no different than in fantasy football. Whenever I was a kid playing fantasy football, I just picked all Cowboys because that's really the only football I actually knew, because that's all I actually watched. You know what I mean? And I never won anything. I was thinking emotionally, not logically, which I should have been. But I mean, you gotta break it down to the numbers. You gotta what's good for the team, not good for the individual. I mean, that's what it comes down to. I mean, let's see. After Brett Favre, he played. See, obviously Green Bay. Then he went to the Jets, Minnesota, right? Like,
Yeah.
he didn't do anything on either of those teams. That's what makes me question with Brady. I think Brady's washed up. I think Brady's done. I mean, with the divorce and everything else, he seems like a different guy. And I mean, obviously anybody who's ever been divorced know what kind of toll that takes on you. But, he just, I don't know. I don't think he'll ever win another ring. Like I said, I think he should have went out after he got that last, Super Bowl. But, if he wants to play till he's 50, God bless him, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let me go take a look at our fantasy stuff real quick. TSS says in the chat, congrats to Tex and Drew. It only took for Frank, second running back, to be out for the year and me to have my starting quarterback and running back be out for this to happen. Well, if they're in third place, Frank, I'll just let you win it, man. Don't care if I finish third place again. But, yeah, it's looking like Tex is going to get me. I had hope. For a minute, I had hope. But
I was leading going into this game by 3 points, and then I still had one player to go. I had Pittman. Pittman. I haven't even looked at the scores tonight. I have no idea what they are. I know going into it, it was 115 to 112 for our game. I was up.
It's 121 to 112. That's going to be the final.
Okay. Well, it was. I was projected to get 122, so it's Fantrax was actually right about a projection this time. Holy crap!
Yeah, yeah, we both ended up beating our projections. I was only projected to score 89.9, but you're going to beat me 121.7 to 112.8.
Right.
And,
well, if that's the case, then Drew, I rooted for you to win. Now I can't wait to take your head off next week. So.
Burrow's 2 interceptions didn't help. That would have made things a little bit closer. I mean,
when your kicker goes out there and gets 18 freaking points, I mean, he's trying. At least somebody is,
I also have Pierre Strong from New England, who did me absolute dick. He got 2 receptions for 10 yards. So,
you had a couple players that got like 2 points, 4 points. You had a couple years.
Well, and Christian Kirk, I thought, was going to do better, but it was just a low-scoring game. So all he got me was 3 receptions for 22 yards and 4 rushing yards. So I got 4 points out of him. Kittle, 120 yards and 2 touchdowns, 27 points out of him. Diggs is the one that really blew me up. That's the one that really ruined me.
Yeah.
Diggs didn't do shit against Chicago. He got me 2 receptions for 26 yards, got 3.6 points out of him. My kicker, Matt Gay from the Rams, thank you for dropping half a honey on Denver. That's 6 extra points, 3 field goals.
God, I hate that guy. God, I hated that dude yesterday.
2 of them were from the bonus, so I got 19 points out of my kicker. And the Tennessee defense didn't do bad. I mean, 7 points out of my defense isn't terrible. They allowed 19 points. They got 1 sack and 1 takeaway. And looking at my bench, there probably wasn't a whole lot I could have done differently with my bench. I mean, I could have started Drake London, but that wouldn't have made a difference. Juju Smith-Schuster didn't do much. Thielen didn't do much. So the only thing I could have done differently was play Drake London, but it wouldn't have been enough in the end. I still would have lost by a couple of points. So, yeah. So so props to Tex for taking me out. He took out the champion.
I had to make a judgment call on playing Dylan or Fournette, and I went with Dylan because he's been on a hot streak here lately. But freaking Fournette goes off and gets 20 points for himself yesterday. But, it was, Fournette hadn't been doing much lately. So, I decided to leave him on the bench. I mean, I think Dylan got me 11 or 12 points. I can't remember. But, yeah, no, it was, it was one of those things. I mean, I will say this. I think our game, what should have been at the championship than a conference championship, because you and I had the best teams all season. I mean, I dominated the first half of the season, and then you picked up on the second half. So, but, it broke down the way that it did. So, Drew, I can't wait to take you out and commit a hate crime on your fantasy football team this coming week, friend. So, it's going down. We're going to have to crap talk all week. I might have to get my Twitter out and make some hate videos against your horrible, horrible fantasy team because I can't let you win. That's just not going to happen. So I need one more victim to add to my pile that have been slashed this fantasy football season. So, it's all good.
I was talking to Nick from Lost River Drive-In the other day. He is a big Ben Roethlisberger Steelers fan, and he was trying to make the case that Roethlisberger is a top 10 quarterback of all time, which I thought was kind of funny because, hey, I agree with him. I mean, I by most metrics, he could probably be considered that. I don't argue that, but I think it's funny that, I would never make an argument that my quarterback is one of the best of all time if he's not the best. So, but I thought it was funny. But just according to wolfgangsport.com, let me put the link to this in the chat real quick so that you guys can read along with me if you want. Copy. Let's see. Paste. There you go. There's the link to the article I'm using in the chat down below. Why is it giving me that? Go away. Go away. I don't want you. Go away. All right. 10 best quarterbacks of all time, according to wolfgangsports.com. Number 10, Roger Staubach.
I agree.
Okay. Yeah, top 10. Yeah. I can't argue a whole lot with this. The only quarterback to win the Heisman Trophy and the Super Bowl MVP, Staubach was inducted in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 85. He led the Cowboys to 4 Super Bowl appearances, winning 2.
Roger the Dodger.
Yeah, I can't really knock that. Number 9, and this was my question to Nick when we were talking about this, is how far back do we go? Because I've always said that I think that Tom Brady is the best quarterback since Joe Montana, but I couldn't necessarily put him above Montana for the same reason why it's really hard for me to argue for or against guys like Babe Ruth being the best player ever, because the game was very, very different when these guys were playing. Tom Brady's not playing the same kind of football that Joe Montana played. So I'm kind of wondering, how do you really compare these eras? Number 9, they have Otto Graham, who played back in the 40s. Graham was selected 4th overall by the Detroit Lions in 44 out of Northwestern. He won 3 NFL championships, 3 NFL MVP awards, 5 Pro Bowl appearances, and was named 7 times to the first team All-Pro. During an era when running the ball and defense dominated play, Graham became the most prolific passer of his era. He led the league in yards passing 5 times and 3 times led in touchdown passes. He had the highest career quarterback passer rating of 86.6 until it was broken by Joe Montana upon his retirement in 1994. He is 9th in the list. He spent his entire career with the Browns and was inducted in the Hall of Fame in 65. So, and that's my question, is how far back do we go? Because the games of the NFL, the 40s was different than the 60s. The 60s was different from the 80s. The 80s is much different from now. So it's difficult for me to find a lot of connecting points where I can compare these guys on a much more even field. You know what I mean?
Right.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, obviously the game changes every so often. And then, see, the problem with the best of anything is everybody measures on a different set of standards. Numbers say this, numbers say that. Hell, just look at Cowboys alone. Statistically, Tony Romo is the greatest quarterback the Cowboys have ever had, but that's because he got his yards 5 to 10 at a time thrown to Jason Witten. When in reality, you had Roger Staubach and Troy Aikman, who actually won more than he did and were more successful because they had better teams and were better players. So, who is best? That's a very hard thing to actually nail down. That's why that argument will always be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, number.
Probably play.
What'd you say, Mikkel? I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
I can't compare that all bigger. You say it was in time. How will you compare them to each other? Because we all know football had changed like 8 times in her.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Number 8 is Aaron Rodgers. I
8?
mean, I can read all the stuff about Aaron Rodgers. We all know about Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
No.
No way.
No.
Maybe statistically, but no. I don't even think he's the best Green Bay quarterback.
I'm not even sure statistically he ranks top 10 in a lot of shit.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know his stats right off the top of my head, but I wouldn't put him as top 10 anything.
He won 1 Super Bowl. 1 Super Bowl.
They really put Aaron Rodgers over Rodgers. That makes no sense to me.
But like I said, though, different eras of football, so I don't know how you can compare those two on a level playing field. He's playing a way different kind of football than Staubach played.
Right. Yeah.
I might even put Kenny Stabler ahead of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, because if you're gonna put someone like Roger Staubach on here, Stabler had a similar career to Staubach. I think Stabler had won either as many or one more Super Bowls. I'm not entirely sure.
He won one more than Staubach.
He won 5?
Yeah.
Let me go to Pro Football Reference so I know I'm getting this shit right.
See.
Let's see. Roger won 2, so he would have won 3 Super Bowls.
He won one. Roger had only won 1 Super Bowl.
The Cowboys have 5, and 3 of them were Troy Aikman. Craig Morton didn't win one. Let's see, one of them may have been Dandy Don. I can't remember exactly.
Don won one. Yeah, remember, right?
I'm not sure. I don't know exactly who. I could have sworn Roger had 2.
I'll go talk.
Ken Stabler.
Yeah, he did. I
thought so.
Your man, Aaron Rodgers, not.
Oh, you're talking about Aaron Rodgers. Oh, okay. Oh, you're talking about Rodgers.
Yeah, I know. He won one.
Well, let's see.
Staubach won 2.
Yeah.
And Troy won 3.
He won 3.
And,
yeah.
Tommy Romo won 0.
Well, Romo was lucky to get a playoff game, much less anything else. That's
okay.
That's
So Stabler's career was a little longer. Stabler played from 70 to 84. Staubach played from 69 to 79.
Right.
Let's see. Stabler threw 194 touchdowns to Staubach's 153.
Okay.
Staubach's quarterback rating was better at 83.4 compared to Stabler's 75.3. Stabler threw more interceptions. Let's see. Stabler's average per year was about 400 or so yards more than Staubach. The yards per average was pretty close. Let's see. Rushing. Staubach had way more rushing yards career than Stabler. He had over 2,000. Stabler didn't break 100. He didn't run that often.
Right.
Receiving is nothing. Let's see. Yeah, like I said, there's not a whole. And they played in the same era, so they're good to compare. In the playoffs, let's see. It doesn't say how many games, but I'm thinking this is a playoffs per game is how they averaged it out. So Ken Stabler he averaged 15 of 27, whereas Staubach averaged 11 of 20. Yardage is Stabler, who averaged 203, Staubach 139. Touchdowns were pretty close. Interceptions were identical. Staubach averaged one more sack per game. Yards per game, they were about the same. Let's see, rushing, again, Staubach kind of had the advantage. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess if you're going to put one on there, the other probably deserves it because they were pretty close just looking at it. Again, Stabler had the longer career, so his career number is going to be a bit bigger.
Yeah, he had the longer career plus, but Roger had those rushing yards where Kittle didn't. So I mean, if we're just measuring apples to apples here, I mean, I think that's why Staubach gets it over him. I mean, for me anyway.
Yeah,
if you're taking everything else into account.
Yeah, Ken Stabler threw for just shy of 28,000 yards. Staubach threw for 22,700. Stabler threw for 194 touchdowns.
Yeah, on a much shorter
on
a much shorter career too.
Yes, Staubach threw for 194 touchdowns. Stabler threw for 194 touchdowns. Staubach threw for 153. When you adjust for the shorter careers, those numbers are pretty even.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm going to say Staubach being a Cowboy fan, but even if I wouldn't, I think I'd still give the edge to Roger. I don't think there's any way you can.
Completion percentages are pretty close, but per game, attempts almost identical. I'm sorry, completions almost identical. Attempts, Staubach's got the slight edge. Yards per game, Staubach's got the slight edge. Touchdowns are almost identical. Interceptions are pretty close. Stabler's got a little bit higher interception rate. Sacks, Staubach is like one full sack per game ahead. Staubach's got about 3 yards, a little less average pass for average pass for his career. So they're pretty close. They're pretty in line with one another. So that sounds about right. Now, I wonder if I can put Rodgers in here.
But Aaron Rodgers in there. Compare the two.
No.
Well, I mean, obviously, with today's modern NFL game, it's basically live action Madden. They like those big passes and big drops. True. I don't know what kind of yardage Rodgers has put up over the years, but I'd be willing to bet without even knowing it that Rodgers probably has more than either of them. I mean, it's a different league.
Yeah.
Let's see. Going back to, I have to close that one out.
Now,
I meant to read that article about the Broncos coach getting fired, but we kind of got sidetracked by the quarterback talk.
I don't think. Well, Rodgers is not a. He the only time he runs is when he's about to get sacked in the pocket or something. So he's nowhere near going to have. He may have as many rushing yards as Kittle does, but he ain't going to have 22,000 or whatever the crap that you said it was.
Yeah,
he ain't going to have that.
Yeah, number 7 was John Elway. I can see that.
Yeah,
number 1 pick overall by the Broncos. He struggled as a rookie. He had twice as many interceptions as touchdowns. He actually was very famously benched his rookie year, then came back his second year and started to blow it up. Blessed with a strong arm, Elway threw for over 3,000 yards in a season 11 times and had at least 20 touchdowns 6 times. Elway was on 9 Pro Bowl teams and won 2 Super Bowl titles in a career spent entirely with the Broncos. He retired with 51,475 yards passing and 300 touchdowns. He was inducted to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2004. Any argument there?
No, I don't think you can argue with that way there.
Yeah. The next one is Dan Marino. Marino was selected 27th overall out of Pittsburgh in 83. He is considered the 6th best quarterback of all time. He was the league MVP in 84 after leading the league in passing yards at just over 5,000 and touchdowns with 48. Led the league in passing yards 3 of the next 4 seasons after that. Led the league in touchdown passes 2 more times in 85 and 86. Marino made 9 Pro Bowl teams and first team All-Pro 3 times. Despite never winning a Super Bowl title, Marino threw for 61,361 yards and 420 touchdowns. He played his entire career in Miami. He was inducted to the Hall of Fame in 2005.
I can't put Marino over Elway. I can't. No. I mean, even with the personal stats, he didn't get the Super Bowls. I would have rather had Troy Aikman over Marino just because of the Super Bowls.
Me too.
I mean, that's the argument with Romo. Statistically, he's the best Cowboy quarterback of all time, but he never won anything. You know what I mean?
I think he also benefited from longer seasons. He was playing one more game a season than Aikman was too.
Yeah,
which was going to help his stats a lot.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I mean, how much do you blame Marino for not getting to the Super Bowl is up to you, whatever. But he never won the big one. that will forever be his curse. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. Number 5 on this list is Johnny Unitas. He was selected in the 9th round by the Pittsburgh Steelers in 55 and never played for the team. He started 7 games in 56 for the Baltimore Colts before becoming a full-time starter in 57, going on to lead the league in yards, passing, and touchdowns. He was named to his first of 10 Pro Bowls and the first-team All-Pro in that year, and led the league in touchdown passes. In each of the next 3 seasons, the 3 more times led in passing yards. He won MVP twice and was a 3-time NFL champion. He was regarded as the best quarterback of all time upon his retirement, finishing with 40,239 yards passing and 253 touchdowns.
Right.
Again, different era of football, though.
Yeah.
I would love to see, and I'm sure somebody's done this, but a breakdown of go by era, the 60s and 70s and, on and forward. I think that's a much better, more fair comparison than throwing everybody into the same hat, because the measuring stick for that, it's going to be off. Because if you just go purely by statistics, then somebody of the more modern era, where they protect the quarterback like they're made out of porcelain, who's, somebody like Brady or Aaron Rodgers or somebody that stacks up yards like the cordwood is going to be the best. But
I don't know, but then you have to think about all of it too. Is like there's a lot more emphasis on trying to pass versus the point in time where it was more of a running. You had a fullback to protect the quarterback or the running back when he went to go do the runs.
Right. Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Long game now, too.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Johnny Unitas, I would say he deserves to be on this list. I don't know about the placement, but I think he deserves to be on the list. Yeah.
I think he should be like 8 or 9 on the, yeah.
It looks like we lost Bacon. That's too bad. Bacon's a buddy of mine. We used to work together years ago. But yeah, Bacon, if you're still listening, buddy, love you, man. Glad to talk to you finally again for the first time in a while.
Yeah.
We haven't managed to really connect.
Thanks for coming on, dude.
But yeah, we're glad to have you around. Next time we do this, you're more than welcome. So another trucker in the community.
Hey, between him and J-Man, we are well prepared. So
yeah, he doesn't go on nearly as many cruises as J-Man, I'm guessing. But
I did see that he had much less hair than J-Man has. So quite a difference.
But also, the next one on this list is interesting to me. This is number 4. I don't know that they're necessarily ranking these people like this. I would imagine that let me go back to the top and make sure I look real quick. Let's see. The leader of the offense, the quarterback, has more different games. Who are the best quarterbacks of all time? Maybe they are ranking these. This is where I'm feeling like they are taking a piss. At number 4, they've got Drew Brees, one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Drew Brees was taken in the 2nd round by the Chargers in 2001, and is 4th on our list. In 5 seasons with the Chargers, he made 1 Pro Bowl and teamed with one of the best running backs of all time, Daniel Tomlinson, who ranked Brees as his second best teammate ever. Brees' career, however, took off following the move to New Orleans Saints, earning 11 Pro Bowl honors in 14 seasons. Brees led the league in passing yards 7 times, including recording over 5,000 yards 4 times. He was MVP of Super Bowl, whatever the hell Super Bowl that was. His lone championship of his career. He was the fastest quarterback to reach 60,000 and 70,000 passing yards. He retired with just over 80,000 passing yards and 571 touchdowns.
Yeah, no, I don't know that much about the other guys. Brees is not there to be on number 4.
Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this for Nick because I want to do the comparison between Drew Brees and Ben Roethlisberger, because he swears up and down that Ben Roethlisberger is a top 10 quarterback. I'm not going to argue with that. Ben
I'm trying to think. Okay, Roethlisberger, he won what? 1? Oh, let's see.
2.
1 Super Bowl or 2 Super Bowls?
2.
I think he won 2.
Did he win 2? I couldn't remember because I know he played in. Go ahead.
Well, so Brees started in 2001, Roethlisberger in 2004. They both Brees played till 2020, Roethlisberger till 2021. So similar years for their careers. Now per game, let's see. Completions are Brees has 3 more completions per game. Attempts, Brees has roughly 3 more per game. Yardage, Breeze takes the slight advantage with like 30 yards or 23 yards or something like that. Touchdowns per game, pretty much even. Breeze was like a 0.3 advantage. Interception per game is identical. Sack per game, Roethlisberger a little bit higher, but it's not so much higher that it's obscene. Yards per attempt, Roethlisberger's is actually about almost 5 yards higher, just shy. Rushing was not relevant for either one of these guys. Playoff totals per game. Well, I mean, let's go to the playoff totals. Breeze was 9-9 in the postseason. Roethlisberger was 13-10. So take that for what you will. Let's see. Touchdowns. Breeze threw one more touchdown in his playoff history than Roethlisberger. Interceptions. Roethlisberger threw a lot more. Threw 13 more. 28 to Breeze's 15. The rest of the numbers are all pretty much even. Per playoff game, this is according to what's the website? Football Reference. Yes, the Football Reference website. I forget what it is. But let's see. Per playoff game, let's see. Breeze has a slight advantage in completions and attempts. Fairly significant enough per game yardage, 298 to 260. Touchdowns, Breeze slightly higher. Roethlisberger, interceptions slightly higher. Sacks, Roethlisberger slightly higher. Roethlisberger was never mobile, though. I mean, he was always a pocket quarterback.
He couldn't run to save his life.
Yeah, that number makes sense. I don't know. I mean, I may have to get these numbers and send them to Nick real quick just to make them look.
You're the owner of a franchise. Gun to your head. You're in the Super Bowl. Who do you pick, Roethlisberger or Breeze? Who are you going with? Don't even worry about the numbers. Who does your gut tell you is going to win you that game?
Breeze.
I'd go Breeze. I'd go Breeze over Roethlisberger.
I don't know. They're so close, though.
Me too.
But see, here's the one thing that, obviously they're both excellent quarterbacks. The passing's there. Everything's there. The one thing that, and I'm not a huge running quarterback guy, but Breeze was really good at it. He could escape a situation. And I think, apples to apples, both in their prime, I think Breeze is the better quarterback than Roethlisberger. He may be 9-9 or whatever in the playoffs. The numbers may tell you it's a 50% chance, but I'm going to bet on Breeze before I do Roethlisberger.
Me too.
I'm trying to think because I know Pittsburgh lost to. Oh, okay, hang on. The Super Bowl where Pittsburgh played Green Bay at Cowboy Stadium. Did Pittsburgh win that, or did Green Bay?
I don't remember. That's too long ago.
Oh, I can't remember now.
I think Pip won that.
Yeah, that's right, because Pittsburgh got their 6th Super Bowl in Cowboy Stadium. McHale's right. Yeah. I don't know. I think, like I said, I'd take Breeze over Roethlisberger if it were me. But I don't think either of them are top 10 quarterbacks, though. But that's just me.
Well, number 3 on the list is Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning at 3? I think I know what number 1 and 2 are.
Oh, yeah, we all know who number 1 and 2 are. But number 1 and 2, look, wherever you put them on the list, 1 or 2 is always the same 2 names. Somebody will have Montana over Brady. Somebody will have Brady over Montana. Those are always the top 2. The only debate is who finishes slightly ahead of the other one. That's the debate.
Right.
1 and 2 is not really an argument. But number 3 is Peyton Manning. Manning was selected first overall in '98 out of Tennessee. He led the league in interceptions as a rookie with 28, but still threw 25 touchdown passes. Manning made the first 14 Pro Bowls in '99 and led the league in passing yards. He led the league in touchdown passes 4 times, including throwing for 55 in 2013 during his time with the Denver Broncos. Manning won league MVP 5 times, was named first-time All-Pro 7 times, and won 2 Super Bowls. He retired with 71,940 passing yards and 539 touchdowns. Following 14 seasons in Indianapolis and 4 with the Broncos, he was inducted in the Hall of Fame in 2021.
It's hard to argue the numbers against Manning. The dude was money when he played. I have no attachment to Brady or Manning, but watching those two play each other, go back and forth, that was one of those games that you watched. You know what I mean? Like everybody was enamored with that. That was the rivalry. Now, 3 numbers wise, yes, but I don't know. It's hard to argue though. I don't know. Oh man. Try to think. Let's see. He won the Super Bowls with the Colts, and then he won one at Denver, right?
Yeah, I think so.
He won. Yeah, he won the one in Denver. He lost the one to Seattle, and then won one the next year.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to remember. So he took 2 different teams to the Super Bowl. Oh man!
I see it too. I would put the 9 10 because
Hang on. You wouldn't put Manning in your top 10? Is that what you said, Mika?
10.
Oh, 9 or 10.
No.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 9 is way too low.
I think that's a fair spot, honestly.
You can't put him above Brady, just numbers wise. You can't do it. Even though I think Manning might be a little better of a quarterback, but Brady benefited from the system that he was in. I don't know.
Well,
I think that's fair where he is.
The argument against Brady is that he benefited from a league that went soft on quarterbacks.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's one of the things, because I was talking with Joe Cronin about this forever ago one night, and when he had popped on to like Derailed, he's the big Brady guy. Well, if they were not allowed to tackle Montana, you think you couldn't attack 4 or 5 Super Bowls and a couple more records onto his resume? I mean, it's like
right. Yeah.
Montana played at a time where you could sack the quarterback. Brady didn't.
Right.
Brady's entire the vast majority of his career has been spent in a league where they were coddling quarterbacks. Now, the reasons they were coddling quarterbacks, whatever, concussions were becoming a thing, so on, and that's a different argument, but you can't, like I said, you can't deny that they played in very different versions of the NFL. That's why that's why I've always said that Brady's the best since Montana, because Montana was playing a different kind of football.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think Peyton Manning, when you put him in that, when you measure him that way, I think he's a solid pick. He's obviously great. Anybody who could take 2 different teams to the Super Bowl and win, and I mean, he was a commander on the field, and not that bullcrap name that they gave the Redskins, but he was a field general, and
he was the team captain. He led the offensive team.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. So I don't know. For me, I guess I'm okay with him at 3 on this. I'm more okay with him at 3 than I am a few other people's names on this list where they're located. I'm all right with the Manning choice here.
Let's see. Next, of course, is Joe Montana.
What?
They got Montana 2, Brady 1. Like I said,
no.
Well, I mean, look, 1 and 2 is going to always be one of these 2 names. That's just where they've got Montana. This is what it says about Montana. Second best quarterback of all time, selected by the Niners in the 3rd round of Notre Dame in '79. Full-time starter 2 years later, he would make the first of 8 Pro Bowl appearances, led the league in completion percentage 5 times, and in touchdowns scored a quarterback rating twice before Tom Brady. He is widely regarded as the best quarterback in league history. To his name, there are 4 Super Bowl titles, 3 first-team All-Pro selections. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2000 and spent all but 2 of his 16 seasons with San Francisco. And then, obviously, I mean, I'll give you Brady's resume, too, I mean, in a minute. But, I mean, Montana, Brady, I mean, that's kind of the debate. You know what I mean?
Right. I don't know. Like I said, go back to the situation. You've got 1 game to win. Who do you want? You want Brady or do you want Montana? And, I mean, obviously – I'd rather have Montana, but that's just me. I mean, I never actually got to see Joe Montana play live. I didn't live in that era, but looking back and knowing what you know now,
I did one time. It was glorious.
Oh, I'm sure it was. Yeah.
I got to see
Oh,
him.
man.
I got to see him hit Rice for like a 40-yard touchdown completion. It was fucking amazing to watch with my own eyes.
Like, I mean, it's just like you were talking about a minute ago. Take Joe Montana in his prime, put him in today's football, ain't nobody catching him. You know, I mean, they're, you know, that ball game's over before it starts. But I don't know, because with what Brady's doing now, look at, and it just really goes to show that Brady was in a cushy system with a set of rules that were favorable to quarterbacks. And I mean, okay, how many years did let's see, he had Randy Moss for what, 1 or 2 years?
I think 2. It wasn't very long. I think it was probably 2.
Did they? Okay, they won the Super Bowl that year, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Didn't he?
Yeah.
Didn't he win with Moss? I mean,
No,
Brady had.
Giant won that Super Bowl.
Oh, okay. That's to say, is that the one where the Giants? Oh, I couldn't remember. I don't know. But like I said, I think it's Montana 1, Brady 2, Manning 3. If I'm just doing a top 3 here, there's no way around that for me.
And then of course, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I think that's pretty much what Frank's saying. Like, you take one, you put in today's system, they'd flourish. You take the other one, you put them back in the system, would it still be the same? I mean, I personally, it's my bias. Like, I don't want Tom Brady to be 1. I'd rather have Moss, just because I don't like Tom Brady in his setup. I know,
Right.
Manning about average. Third, I'd agree too.
Also,
Yeah, I get it.
your guy, yeah, Bill had chat, bro. He also will, I think Bill chat made Tom Brady better than what he is.
Well, obviously the whole Deflategate thing. Anytime Brady's brought up, you know, that's going to be mentioned in the conversation. He will forever be linked to scandal. That'll never go away. But you know, even with that, I mean, we all know all of these teams cheat. It's just that New England got caught doing it. Every single one of them does something that is, you know, below board or whatever. But, you know, like I said, left to if I had my druthers, I'm taking Montana over Brady. But that's just me. That
Like
it's
I
a coin
said,
flip.
they play different eras of football. It's like,
Right.
if you put Joe Montana in his prime, drop him into the NFL and what it is now, there's no fucking way that guy wouldn't just eat a defense's lunch.
Oh, he'd win it every year. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he'd win it in a walk. So,
Right.
but I mean, if you dropped Brady in the middle of, you know, the 1986-87 season when you had defenses like the Bears, the Giants, and some of these other defenses out there that were just killing at the time, he wouldn't have the protections from the officials like he has now. He'd get his ass kicked. And that was back before there was these super teams that had 2 or 3 solid wide receivers and a tight end. I mean, most of his career, he had the 2 tight end monster, which did him a lot of good. He had Hernandez and Gronk, well, for a couple of years anyway. And then,
what year did Brady start for New England? Was that 01, 02?
I don't know.
It was 01. It was, because I remember that one of the big stories about them winning the Super Bowl, because it was right after the attacks on 9/11. And there was a lot of people that were talking about how poetic it was that a team called the Patriots that was all red, white, and blue as their colors.
So
with the Super Bowl, there was some kind of like poetic justice to it all, which, you know, I get, whatever.
Because that defense that Baltimore had, the 2000 Ravens defense is probably the best that we've seen since the 90s Cowboys. So whenever the Ravens with Ray Lewis, whatever we were talking about, whenever they won that year, then after the Patriots stepped up and became, the dynasty that they became. But I don't think that. I mean, well, what are some of the great defenses of the last 22 years? I'm trying to see. There's been good ones, but there hasn't been like an 85 Bears or like a 2000 Ravens or anything defense that's been like super memorable. The game has become so offensive. Like I said, it's basically became a game of Madden where you just rack up as many points and yards as you can get your hands on. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
I'll read you the quick resume on Tom Brady. He was selected 6th round, 119th overall out of Michigan in 2020. In 2000, became a starter in the first of his 15 Pro Bowl appearances the following season. Led the league in touchdown passes in 2002 for the first of 5 times in his career. First of 3 MVP awards in 2007. He led the league in passing yards with 4,800 and touchdowns at 50. 2021, he threw for an astonishing 5,300 yards and 43 touchdowns at the age of 43. Led the Patriots to 17 division titles in 18 seasons and 6 Super Bowl victories. He holds the league records in career passing yards and touchdowns. Won a 7th Super Bowl with the Buccaneers in whatever the hell Super Bowl LB. I don't even know the Roman numerals anymore. To cement his position as best quarterback of all time. Best quarterback of anyway.
Modern era.
Modern era.
Modern era, yes, but I'd still rather have Joe Montana. I think he's better overall.
The reason, one of the things that makes me think that Montana's probably better is because if you put Montana in today's NFL, he's just going to fucking run roughshod on these people. He's going to do what Brady did. I don't think that Brady could go back to the 1980s NFL and have the success that he had without the protections that they give quarterbacks these days. I don't think he could.
I think if you put Brady, go back to the 90s where you had Aikman, Steve Young, Marino. You had a bunch of good, or a bunch of great quarterbacks in at one time. Where would you rank Brady amongst those? Of the Marinos and the Aikmans and the Steve Youngs? Because obviously Steve Young replaced, Joe Montana. So plug Brady into that team. Do you think they do any better, or do they think they do any worse? Because similar systems here. You know what I'm saying?
My guess is he would do worse because he came up in a different system.
Right.
I mean, Montana got elected in the Hall of Fame the year that Brady got drafted.
Right.
So he played a very different brand of football than what Brady came up in. So.
Right.
So I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I respect that Tom Brady grew up a Bay Area kid like I did. He grew up a Niner fan like I did. But at the same time, I mean, I just being perfectly objective, I don't know that I could. I don't know that I could pick him over Montana. That's just me. But
no, I'd go Montana. That's just me. I'm there with you.
Yeah. I don't know. Anything you guys want to talk about before we start to close things out here tonight?
No, I'm getting ready to probably pass out myself.
I'm gonna go smack talk Drew in the football chat and get him psyched out a little bit. So Drew, I'm coming for you, buddy. So.
Yeah. How about you, Mikkel? What do you got going on over on your channel?
Blah, blah. NBA football. The kind of that we talk about all we are Monday through Friday, and I also game on pretty.com Michael Game. Tuesday and Thursday night.
There you go.
If you get a chance, drop your link in the chat real quick. I don't think I have it handy right now. So if you get a chance, drop your link in the chat so they can go check you out if they want. But Mikkel talks about all kinds of sports, basketball, football, baseball during baseball season. He talks NASCAR. He does videos about wrestling. He's just all hooked into the whole sports scene. So go check out Mikkel. Go check out Mikkel when you get a chance. Tex, what do you got going on the internet, my friend?
Oh, not much. It's @/revision on Twitter, and here on Thursdays hanging out with you, talking about movies and whatnot. That's pretty much it.
And my man Marcus Foxtrot, first time I've had a chance to have you on the channel. I'm sure you're going to be on here again at some point, talking about some of the movie stuff. Me and you have gone over a bunch of stuff. What do you got going on these days?
I'm technically trying to start on my own YouTube channel. It's just gaming, City Skylines, Farmvilles, simple stuff that I enjoy playing that other people might enjoy. Try not to bite off a few of my coworkers' heads for calling off on Christmas Eve, but you know, normal work life drama stuff.
Well, once he gets his YouTube channel up and going, I'll probably have a link to his stuff in there as well. As for me, you guys see me here every Thursday. Again, kind of a spontaneous thing we did tonight, just for shits and giggles. I wanted to do something kind of along the line of Derailed. I mean, this is Derailed a lot the last several Sundays, but until Drew decides he wants to try to give that another go, you're just going to find me here on Thursdays talking about all the craziness going on in the world of TV, movies, and streaming. I still have not had a chance to see Avatar yet. I've heard it's pretty good. I'm gonna go give it its due. I'm gonna give it its view.
Just go watch Pocahontas and save your money.
Yeah, well, once I do that, we'll have a review up on that as well. I'm still trying to catch up on. I still haven't seen Violent Night yet. I want to go see that. I actually may, since I have tomorrow off. I didn't think I was going to. Since I have tomorrow off, I may try to escape to the theater for a couple of rounds, maybe even pull a doubleheader at the theater to catch up on a couple of movies I'm wanting to see. But yeah, you'll catch us back here next Thursday. Next Thursday, we're going to be talking about mostly our favorite films of 2022. Tex says he's got a long list. I'm going to try to put together a list of movies that I like. Probably not a long one, but you're going to be hearing me, Tex, Jeremy, and Cora talk about our favorite films of the last calendar year. What were you going to say, Tex? Go ahead.
Oh, I've got the top 10. Like, since I'm the horror guy here, I did the top 10 horror films of 22, and I've got the worst, just the one worst as well. And I know Frank already knows what it is.
We already know.
Y'all too.
I don't even watch horror films. I probably know what that one is.
But yeah, no, like I said, it took me about 3 days to actually nail it down in an order because I kept wanting to change it. But I've got the top 10 horror for 22, and then the one most god-awful film nobody should ever watch again. So, yes.
If you've watched this channel more than once, you probably know exactly what he's talking about. Actually, you know what? And it should be told, I was watching John Campia's channel earlier. He's put out his worst films of 2022, and the movie that you're talking about is on his list as well. So,
well, John Campia is a smart man because he's also a Henry Cavill guy. So he comes from good stock. So
you're in good company with not liking one particular film.
But
yeah, we'll have all those come Thursday, 8:15. Come and hang out with us then. Don't forget to I still got it on here. Let me throw this out there while I'm thinking about it. Don't forget, once we get to 500 subscribers, we are going to be doing a charity stream for the Abandoned Pet Project. What this does is this helps get pets out of these shelters where they're often only hours from being euthanized. And they help nurse them back to health, get them good homes. A lot of animals that were adopted during the pandemic to be kind of emotional support animals or buddy animals, companion animals. A lot of them are just being released out in the street or sent back to shelters because these people are now able to get out and about again. They don't feel like they need the companionship, and shelters are being overrun, and really the only thing they can do with a lot of these animals is euthanize them, especially the ones that are injured. But what the Abandoned Pet Project does is it gets them back to proper health, gets them chipped, gets them all the medical, it gets them back to 100% perfect health, and also works very hard to either find them foster homes or full-time homes. So we're going to be doing our Abandoned Pet Project charity stream as soon as we get to 500 subscribers. So do me a favor, push us up the algorithm, share it out to your friends. Maybe they'll like to come back and listen to us talk about movies. And don't forget to subscribe because we're back here at least once a week. I'm actually thinking about doing a couple one-off videos tomorrow. Excuse me, because there's a couple of stories that are not necessarily big enough to put out on Thursdays that I definitely want to try to get out. Also, don't forget to support us on Patreon. We're going to be giving away probably at least one $25 for free movie tickets on Thursday. So, go join us on Patreon. The link is right there on your screen. The link is also in the description below. $25 for free movie tickets once a month. What this does is this supports the movie theaters, not the production companies, because the movie theater industry was decimated very, very badly by the pandemic. Theater closures, filming shut down everywhere. That industry was hit really, really hard. So I really want to try to get back out to the theaters and support the people that work at the box office, the concession stand. A lot of them are just kids trying to work their way through lives. A lot of even the management there, that's their full-time job, and they were really, really hurt during the pandemic. So let's get back out there. We have a full filming schedules now going on for production companies. Full release schedule coming up the next couple of years is just going to be hammered with all kinds of movies, good and bad. All these ones that people wanted to put out the last couple of years but couldn't. They're all going to be out there. So go to the theaters, support the theaters. The theater is still the best way to see a movie, no matter the genre, no matter what kind of movie you like. The theater is the best way to experience film. So that's what I want to do is I want to try to get you guys back out to experience the theater. And as for us, I think that's a wrap on what I think was a pretty solid show. I'm not mad at the fun that we had. We did have let's see, McCallum makes his first appearance. Tex here as always. Mark is here for the first time. We'll probably have him back at some point. Casey was here for like 5 minutes, and then he fumbled his way through whatever he fumbled through. Let's see. My buddy Patrick was here for a while. I haven't had a chance to talk to Patrick in a while. He bounced because he's a Browns fan, so he probably didn't want to talk a lot about football. But Patrick's a good dude. I've known him for a long time. He's a good dude. I was glad to finally reconnect with him. Me and him are friends on Facebook. But yeah, he's a good dude. So it was fun to have a couple of people in here that I haven't had a chance to catch up with in a while. So thanks to all of my great co-hosts for coming to hang out with us tonight. I very much appreciate you guys coming in. Thank all of you for coming to hang out with us tonight. We will see you guys again on Thursday. Until then, adios.
See y'all later.